Welcome into the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor, that's Nick, and this week we are joined by a very special guest. We got Shane on the podcast this week. Shane, our Souls expert. How we doing, Shane?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you doing?
I'm feeling good, dude. It's truly a treat to get to do something like this. Shane and I have done content together since 2021. Actually, since 2020. You were on podcasts with me in 2020.
Yep.
So to go from being on a podcast where we have a folding table that I bought from Target for $40 with a blue mic that somebody gave us, thankfully, with a shit. But I was using my iPhone at the time to record it. To go from that to a really nice setup, talking about something as awesome as Souls games, something that you were such a large proponent in getting me into.
Yeah.
This is really special. Like, this is genuinely a really special vibe, doing it with two of my favorite people on the planet.
And I'm just here.
Yeah. and Connor's here. So you are almost done with Sekiro.
Yep.
Okay.
And
I've done Sekiro. I beat Demon Souls remake, and then I've beaten Bloodborne. And I played every single Souls game though. I played Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, about 60 to 70% of the way through all of them, and I've played 40 hours of Elden Ring. But I think I barely scraped the surface.
Yeah,
of that game.
And then Shane.
Okay. For just like experience Souls games.
What's your quick overview of experience?
I've played half of Dark Souls 2. I've played 75% of Dark Souls 1, not the remaster, just the OG on the 360. I have played Dark Souls 3. I did like New Game Plus 4 with the DLCs. I have like 200 some hours in that game. And I have Elden Ring fully completed and the DLC on New Game Plus.
Did you get the platinum
as well.
or the 100% completion in that?
No.
Okay.
No. Because for Elden Ring or for
Elden Ring. Yeah.
No, I did not. Just because I was doing a little speed running and missed a couple quests and that stuff.
Yeah.
But, like most of the achievements. So that I played some like here and there Souls likes and stuff. Played about half of Bloodborne. Never owned a PlayStation, so I only played it at like a buddy's place.
Yeah.
And then played some of Demon Souls with Nick. Not a lot of it, but played some of it.
Yeah.
So,
You touched it. And then for me, I played Elden Ring and the Elden Ring DLC, and the secret game that I've been playing is Bloodborne, and I beat Bloodborne.
I
beat Bloodborne.
You did?
I beat Bloodborne. I beat it yesterday.
Nice.
This has been a secret that I 10 days. Don't message the Discord
Did
or
the
anything.
DLCs too?
No, don't message the Discord or anything.
I've not done the DLCs.
Dude, the DLCs are
I'm keeping it in my back pocket for a rainy day, for when I need it,
We have something really cool before Extra Life to show of that journey that I've been working on in the background, along with this Bloodborne journey. So do not message the chat or anything. This is.
How'd you like it?
I remember watching you start Bloodborne.
And then
2 years ago,
it, yeah.
and just get shat on.
We were watching football. I brought out the second TV to go and start Bloodborne. I got shit on for an hour and 20 minutes, and I said, "Fuck
this game. I'm out.
I'm out." And then here I am. I beat it.
Fucking go!
I watched Nick die in the first area of Yarnum to like the shitbird little humanoid NPCs.
That's the hardest part of the game.
It really is.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I beat it yesterday. I beat it in 9 days. This has been an experience. It's not that long. I beat it in like 26 or 27 hours.
What, did you say 40 hours to throw me off the trail?
Oh yeah, I literally looked up how long. Because if I said 20 something hours, you would have gotten it. It was that or Ghost.
I don't think
know.
so.
Yeah.
But if you did say Bloodborne, like I said, there's gonna be something cool that happens before Extra Life. We'll let the fans know that I've already worked on the video. It's great.
It's a video?
Yeah.
Right on.
It's good.
Right on.
They don't know what it is?
They don't know. No one knows what it is. The only people that know what it is Braden, who got our reaction of it. That's why he's on the couch. I'm shocked that no one's like, what the fuck is Braden?
I was like, no, he's really intently playing a game
so
right
he's
now.
playing Tecmo Bowl, and then, Braden, you're phenomenal. You're allowed to leave if you want now, but thank you so much.
Very nice.
It was a good facade.
Yeah. And then,
I'm just really into Tecmo Bowl.
be very careful with the wires and everything. Thank you so much. And
Shout out Braden, everybody.
And then your wife knows.
Yeah.
And then Matt Lucid knows.
That's
Other
very
than
cool.
that, the whole community doesn't know. I didn't tell Brady because I wanted you all to be in the dark to a level where you wouldn't figure it out. Because if I told Brady and then like he went away, I think that you could have figured it out. This has been eating away at my soul because I'm playing one of the best games I've played in a very long time.
Yeah.
Better than
And
Elden
I
Ring?
can't. No, not even close.
Oh my god!
Real quick, I just want to say that this is not like a full official review. We're going to talk about so many amazing games. I really was like, I don't want to just play Elden Ring for the Soulsborne podcast. I gotta step over the fucking plate and be a gamer. Also, Connor for so long was just like, you haven't been Bloodborne, I've been Bloodborne, and so you're not the best gamer call C4. Eat a massive wiener. Oh, I feel so good.
1v1 in Valorant right now.
No, he would smoke me. But yeah, this has been a hell of an experience. I would give Bloodborne a 9 out of 10. Amazing. I think it's an amazing video game. The framing issue, I finally understand why there are people clamoring for it as much as they are. I also think that this game is coming off of Elden Ring and coming off the Elden Ring DLC especially. This game is ridiculously easier than anything in Elden Ring.
Oh,
yeah.
So, real quick, you guys will get to see this. I will show you. The video is on here already. I will show you guys after this finishes up. You guys are about to be upset with me. I went and had guides up and we're going to talk about the benefits of having guides up in Souls games. This isn't a spoiler, but I thought that the game, no matter what, ended with 1 or 2 bosses. That's when I looked up things and like stuff like that. It was like, you get 1 or you get 2. And I literally went and I was yesterday going feverishly around to like trying to get things done. So I sit down to beat this 1 or 2 bosses at like 1 p.m. And then I accepted. And I got none of them. And I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so because I thought that if I accepted it, I would get 1.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden the credits are rolling and it's really funny. You got it. This has been a long process. It's been an amazing
So you didn't
process.
fight the final boss at all?
So the final boss in that game is technically, light spoilers for a name. I'm going to give you like 2 seconds. The Wet Nurse is known as the final boss in that game. But you go up to the person.
Murder's Wet Nurse is the final boss. Technically?
It's technically
that
you can be.
Yeah. But like it's one or the other, and then or you can skip a fight entirely by being like, I want out of the dream now, and then Garmin just kills you.
Yeah,
real quick.
Which, by the way, story wise,
really cool.
I thought that was the move because I'm like, the whole goal of this game is to get the fuck out of here.
And I want to get out. Yeah,
and so like, I thought that she was gonna, I was gonna fight that person, and then they were just gonna go and like at the end of it, I'm gonna like lose sort of deal. I would fight and then lose the battle. Yeah. But then there just wasn't anything.
You just scythes your head off, bro.
This is welcome to the motherfucking Soulsborne podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, man.
I have been so excited.
Hell yeah, dude.
Shane and Connor know this
feel
very
it radiating
well.
off here.
Dude, we shot content for 7 hours. And I've just been like, all I can think about is this. This is the only thing I fucking am thinking about all day long. I'm just
so funny.
I'm legitimately just like dialed in on it. Like Connor's using my computer for the podcast and everything. I'm like, there are video files that I have on here. There is Final Cut that has an edit already completed. There is and then there's Bloodborne walkthrough, Bloodborne everything. If you type in Google, Bloodborne does pop up.
Yeah.
And so like, because I've been going through multiple different things.
Guides,
So like I was
How
so
much optional shit did you do?
I did 3 optional bosses.
Okay.
Towards the start of the game. I did the Cleric Beast on the bridge, which is like one of the first bronies you run into.
Yeah.
I did the
Yeah.
You have to fight him once, and then that unlocks your ability to level up.
Yeah.
But then you don't have to go back to him.
I believe this person is technically optional. The Bloodstar Beast.
Yeah,
they're optional. And then not the 3 witches, not the shadows, but the witch that's like all bubbly and like turned over that summons a bunch of people.
Yeah. That fight is so easy.
And so you just have to. It's a speed run thing.
Yeah.
For this game, the most bosses I died was in the Nightmare, and it's because of that one magic move that collapses on you when you're in that very small room, and you guys will get to see it. Before I face this person, I'm over Sam's. I brought my PS5 up to Sam's to go and be able to beat this thing at like on timeliness, because he was like, you should come up tonight, and I was like, I can't come up tonight. He's like, bring the PS5 up, we will let you play as long as you need to. And I was like, bet. And so I played it that morning. I got toasted. That night, Tuesday night, you left stream, and I was like, oh, I'm so tired. And then I stayed up till 3:30 in the morning playing this fucking game.
Hell yeah, dude.
This was one of the best gaming experiences I will have this year.
What an honor.
Who's your favorite boss?
Yeah.
You have one?
I think that my biggest issue is a lot of these bosses were very easy. I think Vicar Amelia is my favorite boss.
Vicar Amelia is a lot of fun.
Great
I like Margot's Wet Nurse a lot.
Yeah.
When you're dodging through her attacks or whatever. His like feels just the flow is really there.
I was when they're doing their like purple overview misty move where like it gets dark and you have the main one and they're going everywhere. I just literally stayed on the main person's ass the entire time, and so they're like going away and I'm just trailing them. I'm getting hit, but I'm hitting enough times to get my life back up to normal. I smoked them in like 2 or 3 attempts. It was awesome.
I gotta play the old hunters at some point. This is getting me stoked.
Yeah, because like the 2 like best bosses are old hunters.
I understand it. It's one of those situations that like I know that I'm gonna love it.
You're going
and
to,
it's so nice to just have it in the back pocket, ready to go. If I'm feeling really down, I'm like, we're breaking out.
We're playing hunters,
break glass in case of emergency. We're playing the old hunters. It's like that with Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze for me. I love Donkey Kong Country. I've heard it's maybe the best one, and I'm just like, I played every other one. I'm like, I'll just
rainy day game.
I'll save it.
So we do have hot takes we're gonna get into. We got an amazing draft with Shane on deck and everything. But
this will be going up way after Extra Life. I cannot believe the Kool-Aid Man bust through that wall and joined the stream with us on Extra Life. That's crazy.
But we do need to say this because we are not shooting 2 podcasts post Extra Life. They were both pre-shot, so we could do Extra Life and everything. So with that being said, we don't know how much we raised. We don't know anything that's happened. But we assume that we are very, very thankful for you guys' generosity because you guys are an amazing community and you guys have shown that time and time again. So thank you. Is it time for hot take? I'm like coming down now.
I gotta get into housekeeping real fast. So quick housekeeping for you. No more plugging Extra Life because that's done. But thank you guys so much for any support from that stream. We have
Shout
streams.
out the big beautiful kids.
Yeah, that we're raising money for Cincinnati Children's Hospital. We have streams Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be playing The Last of Us Grounded mode every Wednesday. Nick and Brady will probably be at this point playing what?
We're going to be doing some multiplayer fun things is our mindset. So we might be hopping in some Valorant, some Fortnite. So like we don't really want to set anything. The goal is if Connor wants to like be part of those streams, he can from his home. We're still also going to be dealing with Tuesday, Thursdays.
Kingdom Hearts.
I say dealing with. Holy shit, this game's awesome now. Yeah. I went from saying that it's like the music alone elevates it to such a high degree. Great characters, really decently fun combat. I'm dying every once in a while, having fun. Give me the anime bullshit that you can have with this game. Fucking there's so many good moments in this game.
That's the biggest thing with people with future titles. They don't. It doesn't have that middle moment. We just got through Hollow Bastion in the middle of Kingdom Hearts 2. The return with the 1,000 Heartless and the cool fights, the Demyx fight, and the Final Fantasy moments or whatever. Future Kingdom Hearts games need that.
The Final Fantasy moments, legitimately, as somebody that loves this series, like I never thought I said
Wait,
something
you like Final Fantasy?
I never thought I would be this nerdy about something in my entire life.
Yeah.
Except for the challenge. That's it.
Oh yeah.
And the way that Final Fantasy is like taken over for me in the past 4 years or so is simply amazing, and I love it. But to have that moment where it is obviously Final Fantasy characters, not just from one Final Fantasy or in Kingdom Hearts games, for those interactions to happen, for it to be the team getting together, and then also having moments with Sora, Donald, Goofy, just are all. It's the boys, it's the homies, it's everyone together. It is you have. I guess the smallest, like, it's not even a story spoiler, so it's Kingdom Hearts 2, whatever. You have Tifa in Advent Children's outfit. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's just sick ass shit like badass. That is so good and such a perfect homage where it's like not like down your throat in a way of like this.
They just naturally fit. They feel like Kingdom Hearts characters.
It
they
works
are
really
Kingdom
well.
Hearts characters in this world, just like Donald and Goofy are Kingdom Hearts characters. Somehow they've made the fucking mouse seem like an anime character.
Dude, Mickey Mouse is the most legitimately. They made him into one of the most badass motherfuckers on the planet. And we're talking about Mickey Mouse. It's unbelievable.
Michael Mouse.
Mitchell Mouse.
All right, let's get into the hot takes. I'll kick it off here. I got a good one that's going to make everybody very mad. My gaming hot take for this week. I just finished Hollow Knight. I think that Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown is a better game, a better Metroidvania than Hollow Knight. And the hype around Silk Song is out of control. I don't get what you guys are talking about. I really loved Hollow Knight. 8 out of 10. Great game. The benches were way too far apart. Did not like that. Atmosphere, excellent. it laps Prince of Persia in atmosphere. But when it comes to gameplay, Prince of Persia is way more in depth, especially in the fighting mechanics. Like the directional way that you can slash your sword, like makes fights way more interesting. Parries are way more interesting. I thought Prince of Persia was an excellent experience. 8.5 out of 10. Hollow Knight 8 out of 10. And the hype around Silksong is straight up weird to me at this point. Like, we gotta calm down. Like, this game is gonna be great. I'm excited for Silksong at this point, but like, let's take a breath. Every presentation doesn't need to be where's Silksong, where's Silksong, where's Silksong. It's coming, guys. Give them time. I'm sure it'll be great when it comes out. Is it going to be this earth-shattering Elden Ring moment? No. It's a small indie team. I'm sure it's going to be great. But, like, calm down.
I think I haven't played Prince of Persia, the new one.
Yep.
But I will say that the reason people remember a game isn't the gameplay. It's not, you know, the mechanics, how it ties into using a controller, unless it's like a fighting game. If it's a single player game, they remember it because it's how it made them feel, and that's all atmosphere. So when you're like confused about the hype around Silksong, Hollow Knight was able to capture a feeling and put it into a game that was so unique compared to anything else on the market at the time. That's where that like diehard fanaticism that you're talking about with Silksong comes from, is the atmosphere. That's why people love it. They don't love it because like, oh, you can swing your nail up, down, left, right, you know, whatever, move around, do a little dash. That's fun. Obviously, like I had a great time playing Hollow Knight, etc. But people remember it because of the atmosphere. And you said like laps Prince of Persia in atmosphere because it's so unbelievably unique as a game. But like when it comes to gameplay, playing the game, having fun playing it, I totally respect your opinion.
I think on paper, I can like when you're comparing the two games, I think Prince of Persia is the better game. But like when you're talking about feeling and like emotional response, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
like Hollow Knight like has way more sauce than Prince of Persia. So yeah,
I also think that Prince of Persia, like the other half of this take is not just where you're at with Hollow Knight. But Prince of Persia is great. Like, it is one of the coolest Metroidvania experiences that we've ever gotten to play. The boss fight's extremely unique, extremely impactful, super fun. Like, these are great boss fights.
In the main game, way harder than Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, like, in the main game is not that hard for me.
Yeah, and so I really, really, really enjoyed my time with Prince of Persia. Big shout out to that game. Hopefully it continues to get the flower it deserves, especially in this Metroidvania landscape we now find ourselves in, where it's hard to be raised up to that level of Hollow Knight. It's hard to be raised up to even the stylistic likings of Ori. Let's go and rock with The Lost Crown and put that in that same conversation.
And don't get me wrong, guys. I'm excited for Silksong. And I think Hollow Knight is a great game. But I also think Prince of Persia is a great game. That's really my I want to reiterate that. But I'm not in that feverish frothing at the mouth for Silksong like it seems like some people are. That I think is getting a little overboard.
I think that comes from like they said, oh, game's coming out in 2019, y'all. And then it didn't. And they're like, game's coming out in 2020. And then COVID happened. They're like, okay, 2021. And then nothing.
There's plenty of games, though, that take a long time that haven't reached Silksong status of like this like almost godlike game. You know what I mean?
I think it's because it was Kickstarter. Hollow Knight was a Kickstarter. And like people that There's two like Kickstarter games that I point to. It's Hollow Knight and Darkest Dungeon.
Wow.
Those are
Shovel Knight.
The Shovel Knight too, another banger. But those are the two like we're able to capture a vibe. I mean, Shovel Knight also captured a vibe, but they were able to capture a vibe and do it in a way that it felt like, you know, people wanted to give money to a game because they liked where it was going, not just because of what it was. Just like, oh, here's the title, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people get real feverish, real zeal about it, because it's like they felt like they were a part of it during production.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. You guys ready?
Yep. Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
My video game hot take for this week is that gamers need more patience when it comes to certain releases. I understand that there are the wants of everyone in the world, but this isn't just a Hollow Knight conversation where it's like, oh, we really want this thing because it's really exciting and really cool. We don't want a game to come out unfinished, and it happens all the time because of pressure like that. I love the strategy for a lot of companies right now is we're going to put a slate of like a time period where it's going to come out. We're not going to give you an exact date until we are 1,000% sure confident in it. Also, I love currently there's the conversation of Xbox's releases and everything. They're sort of getting pushed into 2025 with a lot of their main releases. 2025 already stacked for what they've announced and want to put in there. So Avowed is apparently shifting, but it's just due to scheduling. I love that. I love having good strategy to let these dominoes fall as they need to, not as we want to. Do we want Avowed in indie in our hands right now to play cool and awesome games? Yes. But we don't need every internet forum to be doom and gloom when something doesn't have a release date. Let the teams have the time. Nobody wants crunch. Nobody wants poor work environments. A great way to go and have that is not put dates on things, and as the audience, be patient.
I mostly agree. I think that the conversation, though, around Xbox, specifically with Avowed and Indie, is they're just in a different place than everybody else. Everybody else has kind of earned our trust and has been like, okay, like it'll come when it comes, and when it comes out, it'll be great. But Xbox, for so long, has put out games that are all right to good and at a poor cadence that when you're talking about Avowed, it's like, fuck, man, again? We're doing this again with Avowed? Like, we're going to push another game? It's like, you already, in this generation, pushed Halo an entire year, and it came out and still wasn't finished. Yep. Like, they just need to understand that, like, they're working uphill, and they can't miss like this anymore.
Here's my question for you. Let me just paint you a little word picture, because I think that there's something you're forgetting with this exact scenario. Is the Call of Duty effect. Call of Duty is an Xbox game now. So they say October, we got a banger. Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is a niche, but
not a banger.
Yeah, it's not a banger. And then we throw Indie in December. It like Avowed
in November is a opening.
I know.
I do not think Microsoft Flight Simulator is a filling a slot.
I understand, you know, but I think that their mindset is it's going on Game Pass, October, Call of Duty, everyone's hopping in. We don't want to go and push this thing up against Call of Duty. And
I
we
think
sure
those
as fuck don't.
Are so different.
I don't know if they are.
Yeah.
Because I think Call of Duty is just so mainstream where like we're all story-based gamers. We're all gamers that like to play a bunch of different genres. But Call of Duty on Game Pass? Are you kidding me? We're going to hop in for, like, if it's good, too? I also think that there might be some confidence in COD being like, hey, this is going to be the one that even the old-timers get off the bench for and have a great few weeks playing, especially if they do have good updates immediately. And maybe, I don't know, Treyarch, a really great zombies map at launch? That could be something else. Give us the goods, deliver the fun, and then, I'm okay with Avowed being pushed because, once again, it's the line of a rush game is forever bad, but a delayed game has a chance to be good. No. Yeah. Like, I want, like, my main thing is gaming population, us, the gamers. We need to be okay when the news like this breaks in general, and then we need to be okay with Silksong. I do think that it's a little bit much with the fever that's around it. Take a step back, not just for Silksong, but for games in general, and be like, okay, Ghost of Tsushima 2, I'm stoked for it. But when it comes out, I'll be there for it. 2025 is already looking fucking stacked. Yep. 2024 at the end, we have a lot of great games that are being notified. Dragon Age, Astro Bot, Call of Duty for me. I'm stoked for COD. Like, those games are all going to come out. They're going to be great. We're going to have a great time. Game of the year is going to be fun. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's going to win. And it's going to be a fun end of the year, and then we're going to have a great 2025 if Avowed is pushed. We don't need... We're already too stacked. We're already entering the busy season of our gaming coverage history. Like, it's a lot. So, that's my take.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a good take. People need to be patient. That's good. From, like, a software development standpoint, I mean, just, like, let people do their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest thing I can point to with this is Cyberpunk. When that game was... You know, it got delayed like just a couple months at a time. People started sending death threats to CD Projekt Red. They released an unfinished game. Everybody shat on them for it.
And now it's one of the greatest games of all time.
And now it's one of the greatest games of all time because you let them do their jobs.
Yeah.
Right? You gave them the time, do their jobs, follow through. And that's,
some of the pressure was taken off of them by releasing a broken game to just be like, okay, well, now we just get to finish it at our own pace.
Here
or
you
whatever.
go. Yeah, happy. Yeah. And then,
I also
think
think
people are happy.
I think, though, going back to Avowed, it's fucking Obsidian. Similar to CD Projekt Red, we know they have the capability to make really great titles.
Yeah.
So them getting a little bit extra time to let something cook, all about it. 10 out of 10 move. I understand that, yes, Xbox does need that cadence. We've been waiting for it forever. For the first time, we have hope beyond this year. I feel like every single year with Xbox since the Series X release and everything, it was, this year's looking pretty good, but there wasn't anything like in the future that really felt concrete and exciting. Next year, Doom, South of Midnight, Fable, those are three
We're doing this every year,
title,
Nick.
but that is very different than 2020 Redfall and Starfield. That is
what are we talking about
leagues.
this year though? We were talking about Hellblade. We were talking about Indiana Jones and Avowed. Now it's going to be Hellblade and Indiana Jones, and all of a sudden this year looks a lot worse just because you remove that one puzzle piece. And so next year you have those 3 games. One of them's going to get pushed.
But if Avowed replaces it, then we got 3 games,
and then 2 of them are going to get pushed. It just feels like the goalpost keeps moving. For
My
them.
thing
They
is,
never can get the ducks in a row, I want them to. Don't take me.
Once again,
here.
you are forgetting it is Hellblade, Indiana Jones, and Call of Duty, which is one of the biggest releases this year.
I refuse. It's not an exclusive. I know that like that doesn't matter in the long and like their dollars to donuts, like they're still making a ton of money off of that. But when it comes to the zeitgeist conversation around Xbox, nobody's going to look at Call of Duty selling like it always sells as an Xbox win. You know what I mean?
I think that it's not an Xbox win. I think, though, that you have to look at their portfolio and include it because that's what it is. It is part of their portfolio.
I think what Connor means by as an Xbox win is, does it put Xbox as a publisher and a game studio above other publishers and game studios? And
it doesn't move the needle.
It doesn't move the
all.
needle.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to say. Like, it goes in their portfolio. They make a bunch of money. They get time and resources to make better games, to help other people make better games. But it's not. It doesn't put them higher up in the conversation of like, wow, Xbox game studios, and that does matter. Yeah,
right now, both you gentlemen, I've been very apparent with this take.
Yeah.
2025, my most anticipated game, looking forward to right now, if you ask me, would be Monster Hunter Wilds. Since seeing that demo at SGF, I was like, yeah, this is going to be one of the most next-gen titles ever. I'm stoked. Number 2 is South of Midnight. That game looks fucking awesome. It displayed really, really well. We saw gameplay. I'm excited. Super unique art style. Like, this is a team that I believe can do it with what we've seen. And that's an Xbox title. That, for me, I know it's about to sound pretty crazy, that's like ahead of Death Stranding 2 that it currently has a release date. That's even the idea of going back to Ghost of Tsushima and like the excitement that could be there. It's like, okay, but South of Midnight we've seen and we've gotten like actual gameplay, and that's exciting. That's where I'm at. That's my number 2.
I like Kojima. Smile. That's my take on that. I like Kojima. I trust him. I think Death Stranding 2 and Monster Hunter Wilds are my 2 most.
Okay. Did you like Death Stranding 1?
I liked how it wasn't trying to be a Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like how going in a different direction, trying to do a new thing. I can always appreciate that. And we'll get more into that when we talk about Dark Souls 2. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it.
Right on.
Well,
did Brayden close the door to the bedroom?
Oh, he definitely did.
Do you mind going to
I can open it up because the AC is in that room and we are starting to coast onto these studio
lights. Why am I
lights.
so much hotter right now than I was like 5 seconds
ago? Start talking about Xbox. Start getting pissed off. That's what happened. Yeah. Wordily. Do you want to go ahead and crack out about Souls games?
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about our first Souls experience, how we got into the series. I think my story is not where you think it's probably going to be because it's very unique from a lot of people. My first Souls experience was Dark Souls 2.
Same.
On the PS3 after the PS4 had already come out. So I had a PS4. Dark Souls 2 comes out. I break out the PS3 to play Dark Souls 2. It was that and Stick of Truth. Were the 2 games that like came out after
Bangers.
the fact. And when I played Dark Souls 2, I was like, I knew that it was challenging. I knew everyone said, but there was a lot of hype around it. And I was like, okay, I'll pick this up. And it was received pretty well by reviewers. Yeah. People were like kind of into it. And then the fans obviously were not. But I remember playing 10 hours of that game and realizing my build was like completely fucked up and just restarting altogether.
Yeah.
just being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I didn't understand the stats. I didn't understand any of this stuff. There's also the mechanic where like when you die, you like lose like a certain amount of health. And I was like, okay, like I don't really know how that works. So that was really frustrating, but I bounced off of it really fast. And then the next time I played a Souls game was Bloodborne. So or Souls type game.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the runway of Souls games?
Your first experience.
One. For me, it was, so I'm in middle school. I'm like 13 I'm like 13. And I come home and I go to my neighbor's house. And he's like, hey, my dad got me this game, but it's really hard. I don't like it. Do you want it for free? I was like, yeah,
Sure.
So I take the game. I go home to my Xbox 360, and I pop in Dark Souls 2 for the Xbox 360. And I went through the like Lands Betwixt area, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Spent a bunch of time making my little guy, whatever. I get to Majula. I'm like, oh, cool. This hot girl with the red hair. Nice. And then I got to like what is considered one of the easier areas, and got to the Dragon Rider. And then I put the game down and never played again. I was like, that was my first experience with it.
Did you like it?
When I was a 13-year-old, I was confused by it.
Okay.
I felt lost. I didn't know what I was doing. You couldn't pause the game, which was first game I could ever like not pause. That was horrifying.
Yeah.
But
let's talk about that real fast. How do we feel about the not pausing thing? I don't like that personally.
Get to a safe spot.
You can pause in Sekiro, and it's way better.
Sure.
I way prefer it.
Sure.
For me,
there's no invasions in Sekiro though.
The biggest issue with the no pause thing isn't that I need to pause to like really put the controller down. It's that there's certain moments that I'll get a text message or I'll get something that is some sort of level of distraction and just be like, I can't pause. So I'm going to stay dialed in, but my phone is now buzzing. And I'm just annoyed a little bit more than I would enjoy the game. So it takes away a little bit of enjoyment, like actual concrete, like I'm not enjoying this the way that they want me to, or I want to, and the person that's calling me wants to. Like none of it's working out really well.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think that there is merit to it where it's like, like Shane just said, get to a safe point, defeat that enemy real quick. It keeps you a little bit more immersed. It's also something that I learned to put my phone completely in the other room because I couldn't pause and stuff like that. And then I would miss calls from Connor. Like those things just sort of happen when you're playing these games.
And if you're playing PC, any Souls game, and you want to pause, just open up Task Manager and pause process.
Yeah.
No big deal. But
interesting.
me when I know computers. Computers. So that was my first one, and then the first one I actually played was Dark Souls 1. And I got through the first few bosses, and then I got to Capra Demon, which is my least favorite Souls boss of all time.
Is that the one that's like in the little hallway?
In the hall with the stairs, the two dogs, and the demon that you just... I literally like could not beat Capra Demon on my own. Had to summon my buddy. He came in. We tried for like 3 hours because I'm like a freshman in high school at this point. And beat it. Yada, yada, yada. Got to Ornstein and Smo. Beat that one somehow
Is it
solo.
Smo?
Smo.
Oh, I thought it was Smog.
No.
That's where I dropped off.
Ornstein and Smo.
The
I
run
beat them.
back for that boss fight is ridiculous.
That is one of the... That's why I like Elden Ring over other Dark Souls games.
I can't with the run back.
It's because the run backs. The run backs are brutal. Dark Souls 2 is some of the worst run backs of all time. And we will get into Dark Souls 2 later, but Dark Souls 1 was my first like real Souls game experience. Sunk my teeth in, really got into it. And that I was able to like understand how it captured lightning in a bottle as far as like designing a game and like making levels, making layouts, designing builds, stuff like that.
Bless you.
Very good.
One more.
That's I would say Dark Souls 1 is like, even though I played Dark Souls 2 first, Dark Souls 1 is like my first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me.
Am I going to talk about my first?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think this is an interesting conversation. There's moments in life where you have your first, but you don't really consider your first. And the prime example of this for me now is Souls experiences, where I tried Bloodborne because it was on the PlayStation Plus collection.
That was your first try?
Yeah, that was the first thing.
He tried it first, got mad, put it down until like literally 9 days ago.
Yeah, like it literally less than 10 days ago.
Yeah. I think I beat my first playthrough of Bloodborne in a similar amount of time.
Yeah,
I wasn't even like, I just was hooked.
And then there's on the other side of it, Elden Ring that I also tried in 2020, and I played about 15-ish hours, and I beat the first boss. I felt very satisfied. I was very excited to continue on, and then like a lot of
the first
stories,
main boss.
Oh yeah, the first main boss.
Margit?
Margit
the fellow. Yep.
And to beat that boss, feel satisfied. a lot of stories with me in college are I'm really having a great time with this, and then I just get social and I do something else and I put the game down and then I play 10 hours of Mario Kart a day. Like that is just sort of what happened with me in college pretty often, and that's when grades were good. If they took a dip, then it was I also need to focus on studies. So I put it down for a while, and also the week before I bought Horizon Forbidden West, put that game down too. Like this, I didn't think I was ever going to get back to either of those titles, and then Erdtree gets announced, there's excitement and everything, and as somebody that truly does love watching other people play Souls games, I was super into watching Mike and Andy at this time. Mike was doing his DS2 playthrough. Watching, I know that you'll probably know this run through, Shane. There's those like icy wolves that you face.
Yes, it's the frozen
DS2.
What's it called? Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Frozen something.
Yeah,
it's the snowy one in the DLC.
Yeah, so he's doing the run back for it, and he's playing I Need a Hero in the background, and he's just getting fucked up on the way to the boss time and time again. And I'm having so much fun watching the stream. I'm like, all right, like, it might be time to give this another shot, but how can I make content out of it? So surely enough, the date gets announced. I'm playing Final Fantasy IX. Stream starts, gets announced. I throw on the Elden Ring main theme, and I immediately start shit talking Connor just so hard, saying that I'm gonna beat Elden Ring and Connor's gonna think I'm not gonna beat it, and it's a whole thing. And I go and give this whole hype ass speech. Surely enough, Connor, like the next day on content's like, you're not doing this, you fucking joker. Like you're not doing this, you palooka. Are you kidding me? Come on. And so surely enough, there's nothing that amps up old Two Shoes more than Connor saying I can't do something.
Except play Persona 5. Apparently that doesn't work.
It's the only one.
There.
It's the only one. I mean, I played like 40 hours of Persona. Like I love Persona, but it's a
Persona.
beast. It's a beast of a game.
It is.
So
big.
I then sit down and I plan out what the content slate is, where my time's going to be. We get hit with multiple reviews, and in March we had Ronin, we had Stellar Blade hit our desk, and so I'm like, we have Shaky Knees early May, and I'm just like, well, I guess I'm playing this May all the way up to June, and I'm just gonna figure this out for Elden Ring. And surely enough, that's got a little bit more concise, and the time sort of shrunk, and I just was like, okay, now I'm gonna like get the Discord in on it. They're gonna watch my playthrough, help me out with certain things. And everyone was awesome. You know who you are. Shout out to everyone that was super helpful during that playthrough. And then it turned into another idiotic, beautiful idea for myself. I hit up Connor and Brady, and I just say, I'm going to do an Elden Ring subathon. And we set the date. And we set the time. And thank Christ, I fucked up the time when I said it, because I was then able to see 21 Pilots that Friday. And then 50 hours later, we beat the game. We beat Melania. We beat Placiduce X.
Yeah.
Come on. What a name. Anyways, and what a fight. And we do the whole damn thing. Surely enough, Connor, myself, Brady, Elden, like we want to cover as many major releases as possible, and that means sometimes you got to play something that you sort of don't want to. But I'm Elden Ring's a masterpiece. It's an amazing game. And then we did Erdtree immediately following it up. And then I did Cuphead and Bloodborne. I'm getting my ass handed to me. I'm so excited to play some fun, chill games tomorrow and just be happy for once. Like, even Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, I don't want to die in a game. I want as many guardrails on as possible.
Kingdom Hearts 1, or 2, you should not be dying.
I understand, but we're like yapping it up. We're having a great time. So my first experience, though, was Elden Ring, which I think for a lot of people would be like, well, you just fucked yourself, because it's going back to other things. It's going to have serious stain to it when you're going from playing the GOAT. But then going and playing Bloodborne was something else.
Was the start of Bloodborne difficult still, or did you cruise through it?
I cruise.
That's one of the things I hear all the time is people go back to Bloodborne after playing Elden Ring, and they're like, yeah, I cruised through the whole game as easy as hell.
This game legitimately, like, the Nightmare took me a bunch more turns than any other boss, just because of that one kill move. And I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it is.
Can you look up the boss?
Yeah, it's the guy with the cage on.
I know exactly.
Grant them eyes. Oh my god, that guy.
He's like running through like the maze. And everything.
You're in a nightmare. Yeah, that's the whole premise of the boss.
That one's so easy.
I understand. So the first room, I was teching him in a way
I'm horrible
that just like completely bodied him. He got in a corner, I would hit him, back up. He would do his like long tentacle move. It would pull back, and then I would step back in, hit him, and I would get it done in seconds. But then the second phase, he has one magic spell that went over the top, and I couldn't get the timing down on the dodge for some reason.
I remember that, yeah.
But yeah, it was for some reason that took me like about 20 attempts. Every other boss was 6 attempts or less. It was super easy. Some of them were first try, some of them were second try. Like the wet nurse took me 2 tries.
Yeah,
like it was really not difficult. But yeah, going backwards was definitely like I'm at the point that I'm like I potentially I'm also like on a great trajectory right now playing hard games. I know how to go and time things, and that part of my brain it's really on.
If Bloodborne is your first Souls game, it's going to feel totally different.
Yeah, it's going to feel way harder.
Bloodborne was my first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, that's not true. Demon Souls was my first. Well, I beat Demon Souls and then I beat Bloodborne. I beat Demon Souls, sold my PS5 because it was making a really bad, annoying noise with the fan, and I just returned it. And then I was like, okay, I have a PS4, so like, what am I gonna play? but Bloodborne.
Whoops! Just one of the best games out there.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, just Bloodborne. Yeah. All right, let's get into the next question. What do we love about Souls games? What draws us to this fucked up, difficult universe, and why do we enjoy them? Shane, do you want to kick this one off?
Simple. One word, atmosphere. They are able to capture a feeling, capture a vibe, and put it into a game in a way that is incredibly unique. And another thing I love is that From Software is able to take their learning experiences of what worked, what didn't work in a game, implement it in the next one, and just keep improving. And that's why I think Elden Ring is the best, is because it takes all the good from the other games and then adds some more, and it's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And it's able to capture an atmosphere. It's able to capture that feeling of, you know, hopelessness in a game that Dark Souls was like cutting edge on, and improved it, put it in a way that is just phenomenal. So
yeah, for the atmosphere stuff, I just think that it's kind of like pick your favorite atmosphere, and that's probably going to be what your favorite Souls game
Pretty
is.
much,
And
yeah.
like that's what draws a lot of people into these games. Like you said with Hollow Knight, like it's the feeling that it gives you, and the feeling I get of being in Yharnam is way better than the feeling I get than being in the other Souls games.
Yeah.
So
many agree.
Yeah, for me, the reason that I attach to these games at this point and am willing to stay up to crazy lengths, I think that the Elden Ring DLC was like, I said it on the review, I've climbed a mountain. I have done some crazy shit in my life that have been very difficult, that has had a lot of prep work. Radahn was tougher than all those things combined. Like there's a fear that gets presented of an obstacle in your way, and the only way you can do it is pure determination. And for me, that is like my life story, and I love just being able to strong head my way to a result and get good. Like that's something that you kind of have to do in all of life. And I do think that there's a lot of parallels to the way that these Souls games treat you, as they respect you. They understand that you can do this as the player. You will do it one day, but you have to really work hard and overcome. And that feeling, as somebody that is very closed off as of right now, of like we work really hard on this business, we like there are challenges that come up every single day, but there aren't these overarching, overwhelming challenges that used to be presented in front of us. Now it's more like small and minute. To have that feeling of overcoming difficulty that I've only experienced a handful of times in my life, and have 2 of those experiences come now from Souls games, like this is an experience that you get like 10 to 15 times in your life, and then it's like, oh, we're just going to create a game that gives you that emotion. And that emotion is so difficult to capture, render it, but they do it, and it's spectacular.
That feeling of throwing your controller to the side after you beat the boss and standing up and be like, yes!
Yeah.
He's like, there's no other game, there's very few other games that make me feel that way. Cuphead's one of them, but like that feeling is just so visceral. And then when you get so close, and then you get greedy, and you're just like you're going in there, and then you die the last second, and then you're like, it's me. It's my fault. I have nobody else to be mad at. And that emotion is like, it sucks, but like it's a very interesting emotion that I kind of like feeling.
It's so hard to do as a game because it's so easy when you lose something to be like, yep, that's bullshit, game sucks, right? But the way that tough but fair is presented in these games is just like masterful.
When I was reviewing Erdtree, a big reason that I don't give Erdtree itself a 10 out of 10 and I gave it a 9.5 was there was a couple of framing and glitching issues that I got killed by that were very much on the game. And the thing that From Software games do brilliantly is it is never on the game. It is on you to get better. It is on you. The reason you died was you died.
Yeah.
And that feeling when you do not die and you overcome it, that is all you. You accomplished it. It is only in your hands. You control this small being against this big old boy and came out on top. It is purely magic.
Yeah, man. Elden Ring's my favorite game about my 5'7" legends beating anyone they want. Yeah.
For me, you guys hit on the points that I probably would have brought up, but I really do love, this is a double-edged sword because in one way it's the worst part of this whole situation and the best part is the community around it. The community notes, the discussion boards, the lore, figuring out the lore and discussing that with people online is like super interesting. I love the camaraderie when it comes to it.
In game too.
And the notes, like the little things on the floor are oftentimes hilarious. It's like a turtle and it's like dog. In front of it. Like that shit's hilarious. So that's fun and feels like it's a Strand type game. You can feel the people that were there before you, but you can't see them. So that's kind of nice. So I really appreciate that. But it is annoying to have people be like, you didn't beat the game unless you played it this way or whatever. Like I don't really give a shit about that. You do whatever you want in the comfort of your own.
Is there a question about that, by the way, that we have prepared? Then I would love to bring it up now.
Good.
I think it's a very important discussion to have when you're talking about Souls games overall. I think we're all on the same page with this. Play these games how you want to.
I do think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're cheesing the game, though.
Yeah,
but I don't really give a shit, but I personally do think
what do you mean cheesing?
If you're like using magic builds where you can like really just stay as far back as possible and really put
Comet Azure and the spell that gives you infinite FP. Yeah, it's cheesing to a point where it's like,
what's even the point?
It's a dev tool. It's a dev tool to skip past the game to play test. Like that's what it feels like.
If you want to just see everything, I get it. And
fine.
You're doing it in the comfort of your home. I don't. Even then, why would I give a shit?
You played the game the way you wanted to play it.
Yeah.
But the question is, did you have fun? Right. Yeah. And if you have fun by getting this power fantasy of being able to just like essentially like being in Gary's mod and just deleting objects in the game, then good for you. Yeah. Enjoy the game. You bought it. Enjoy it.
So I want to say this because I've had two very, very different experiences where Elden Ring, I have the community holding my hand, chat holding my hand, go grab this, do this, run over there, grab
skip
this
boss, etc.
Yeah, like this boss is going to, or not even skip this boss, but you're not ready for that boss. Whereas if I was playing by myself, I would run against that boss 1,000 times and just get my ass handed to until I beat it. Having stuff like that, extremely beneficial. Bloodborne, I beat with the original weapon that you were given.
What'd you use?
Saw cleaver?
I legitimately, it's the giant stick with a cleave over it, like that
you can make long.
Scythe?
Yeah, you can make long.
I did the whole game with that too.
And I think that a big part of that was I was
just
just
like
use
the scythe or the cleaver that you can choose.
extended long one. The one you make
the
short
one,
and long.
that goes the polearm one.
Yeah,
I'm forgetting the name because
I don't fucking know what it is.
The one did you use the one that's on the cover of the game?
No.
Yes.
The saw cleaver.
Look it up.
All right.
Does it fold out or does it extend?
Extends.
Then it's not saw cleaver.
Okay.
Yeah, look up what you use. But yes, I used the saw cleaver the entire game.
Saw cleaver,
I leveled it all the way up.
Tight as shit.
Yeah.
That and like the whirligig is fun. But
I've literally never touched another weapon in these games.
I touched the whirligig because people were like, yo, check this one out. And I was like, okay. And I checked it out. I was like, this is funny, silly, but it's also like broken as shit.
Maybe I put something on, but I don't really remember. There's one that's like a whip that like is like a chain or something. That's kind of just a cool looking one.
I think that's probably my favorite aspect of Bloodborne is the way that they did the weapon, the switch arts and stuff. Because like
I used the Hunter Axe.
Yeah.
I used that, John.
Fascinating.
The polearm one.
Yep.
Yeah, I use saw cleaver because it looks cool.
And I 100% agree. That's
looks cool.
I was like,
looks cool, man.
It's also on the cover, man. It's like, why would I use anything else?
Exactly.
Dude, for this, I did have guides up to like legitimately. I had to do like a deadline, almost like an embargo line up today to beat this game because for me it was like, if I don't beat it by today, what was the fucking point? Like, I wanted to be able to talk about this on this podcast.
It would have been like, oh, I did it to like on like a stream, which would have still been fun.
It would have been fun. Like I said, I'm excited to show you guys after stream what I've been cooking up in the background and everything. But there is a level of hand-holdiness that I had during it of like, okay, like point me in the general direction. And there was a couple places that I couldn't find. And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm just going to go and use that. But a lot of it more was I relied on the level design being brilliant and just pointing me in the right direction naturally. And the coolest shit ever is when you just go and all of a sudden you open a door and then you see the lantern that was at the very start of this section. And you're just
oh my God.
the shortcut is here, baby.
That's the Souls game.
That's
what I'm
what
saying.
That
That's what I'm
is
saying.
probably my favorite aspect.
I love that shit.
It's level design. It's fucking level design.
One of my favorite
awesome.
parts about Dark Souls 3 was Undead Burg, where there's like 2 bonfires, but like 4 doors and 6 ladders that you kick. And so you're still respawning in the same spot, but you're able to like navigate this web of a level, and it's just masterful level design. I'm just a huge fan.
It's like the Forbidden Woods, I believe it's what it's called in Bloodborne.
Where there's all the snakes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not positive on that.
That's where I got to the first time I played the game.
There's the guys in the mud that are grabbing you also in that area.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, I'm listening to the fantasy footballers because fantasy football season is about to kick up. We got drafts coming up and everything. So I'm listening to that. It is 2 a.m. and then I go and open the door that gets me back to the very front of the level right before the Shadows of Yharnam, which are the 3 like people that are hooded. And
I always feel like that's in Dark Souls 3 for some reason.
Yeah.
But yes, I know.
Okay.
I love that fight.
But I go and get to that like moment of kicking the door or like going up the elevator and then opening the door and then having that shortcut. And because I died so many times on the run up to it, when I opened that door, I kid you not, I had my phone and I threw my phone. I was so excited. I literally had my I had my laptop up and then immediately just went in. Oh, that's a way to do that.
Worse.
Yeah.
That's a worse
Anyways, it's not bad.
No.
We just spilled a drink for those that are audio only. I'll grab a napkin in just a moment. But when I go and open that door, I throw my phone over and I was purely euphoric. I was just like,
the best feeling.
and I was like, this is as good. It felt as good as being a fucking boss. Like, it was great.
The sense of accomplishment that you get from these games is nuts.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
I was gonna talk about something. What is it Orm? What the spider boss?
Yeah.
In is that his name?
I think
Wait,
The spider boss.
the spider
In
boss
Bloodborne?
Yeah.
in the
Rom?
Rom, yes.
Oh, I just had I had all the letters.
yeah,
but
just wrong
said-
order. Yeah.
Right here, Nick. More. Here.
Is there Orm exists though? That
Does
is
it?
somebody.
Okay.
There is an Orm.
All right. But yeah, I that fight is so cool looking to me.
Yeah.
And it gave me such a hard time. But I do love that fight quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then there's the one like that's later in the game that's like just a bunch of guts and blood and like bones like in a big guy or whatever. When you're like in the city.
The one reborn.
Yes, yeah,
yes,
that
One
one's
Reborn.
hilarious too. It just
that
like
one's-
dropping shit on you.
Oh, that's
or
cool.
whatever.
I love that.
Yeah,
They're all great.
The
I
run
like
up
their
for that
story stuff, too. I love it.
There is a big run up for that boss too, or there might have been
The
a
run
shortcut.
back,
But the run back for me was always tough.
Oh yeah, I just ran to it. every
Beating,
single time.
going and finding though, like I know we're talking very specifics and everything. Finding the pockets of that boss where they have like a leg going this way, an arm going this way, and you're just in the middle of it, hacking away at it. It is so satisfying because it's such an overwhelming boss. It's huge, it's sporadic, but you as a player get to see that line, that divine line of just jumping in and just beating the shit out of it, just chunking health away. It feels so good. This podcast is twofold. One, I'm with some of my favorite people talking about some of my favorite shit ever. But two, I'm able to just talk about the things that I've enjoyed for the past 10 days. Shane, me playing a Souls game and not calling you every single time I do anything.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard that is? I'm a
For real.
professional yapper, y'all. Come on. Like, all I want to do, Matt Lucid had not played this game. Your wife had to play this game. Brayden had to play this game. And I'm like, fuck. I legitimately thought about going to someone in the Discord and be like, I just need to. I need to unload about this Bloodborne stuff. Yeah, totally. Oh my God. So, yeah, I am still dialed in on some of these boss names. Also, I'm excited. Like, there is a moment in the thing that will be shown by the audience and everything, so they'll see it by now, where I'm yapping about some of the boss names, but I'm calling them by like shorthand, things that I don't remember, and I have a thing that says boss translation. It's really fucking funny because you don't know the boss names while you're fucking 4 a.m. and you're just working through it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
All right, what will we change about Souls games? What do we not like about them? I'll take the lead here.
Go ahead.
I personally, I don't like the lack of direction. I'm going to be honest. I would personally prefer these games more if they had a little bit more hand holding.
I think you would love Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
Connor.
Oh yeah.
You would love
I
Dark
did
Souls
like
3.
I did prefer that.
Yeah.
I played
super linear.
There's
can't go anywhere wrong.
Right. Yeah. There is that section where it's like big castle, blue sky.
Irithyll?
Yeah, I got to that point, which is how far into the game?
Halfway.
Yeah. See, like I've done that for like every.
My thing
game.
though is Elden Ring, even though it is terrifically open, the level design once you go and touch the side of grace in the way that it points you over there.
I think that was one of the best changes.
It is, it is, in my opinion, something that almost breaks the Souls formula. Where I would agree,
but you're not supposed to play the game like that. You're not. You're supposed to like use those. Or like, okay, now I'm gonna go do the main quest and like you go and follow those. But for the most part, you're like, I haven't been to this side of the map. I'm gonna go over there. And oftentimes, I went over there and found nothing. That was or found a dead end or something I couldn't do at that time. And it's like, well,
because it was too difficult, or
no, like where I needed a key or something.
Oh, okay.
Like I went up I spent 3 hours going up this like landing with like a tower on it, go to the top of the tower, and I didn't have the item that I needed to like really even be up here. And I was like, okay.
But you got the side of grace to come back.
But I felt like I just wasted 3 hours though in that moment personally.
For me, it's more of like, when do you invest the time to unlock spaces?
And then it was also like, I go up there, I don't have the item, and then I don't know where the fucking item is. It's not like I can go get the item now. It's like I don't know where to go to get it.
Are you talking about the Divine Towers?
I have no fucking idea.
If it's a big tower, you go up, and there's a big lift. You have to kill bosses.
Okay,
that's how you activate super mode if you use a rune arc. That was one of the things I think that could be a little bit better is when it comes to what I improve is like these games are like they make. You make and break a Souls game by the item descriptions. That's how you get the story. That's how you get, how do I use this item? And if some of them could be a little more descriptive on the gameplay mechanics and how you can use like very gamey aspects that don't really apply directly to the story, that aren't just leveling up, like using the great runes in base game Elden Ring when I played it on release, very confusing. Nobody really knew unless you looked it up of like, oh, you get Morgoth's Great Rune, you get Godric's Great Rune, and then you're like, okay, what do I do with this thing? I just put it on, and then it does nothing. And you're like, okay, it didn't raise any of my stats. That's what it says it does. But the tying in between that and rune arcs and needing to activate a Divine Tower, it's cool, but the game throws it in your face, makes it very obvious that you need to do something with it. But the item description is a little too vague. Sometimes, especially on these useful stat setting up items, maybe a little more description. That's my only pet peeve.
My biggest need from these games is the fact that you can play these games and not deal with any of the story and still have an amazing time is a major testament to how good the gameplay is, how good the atmosphere is.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have some of the best stories and most interesting stories within all of gaming, and that you can miss it, in my opinion, does have some issue to it. Where you, like, I just want a little bit more, like, the cutscene are so terrific. The Mesper cutscene is something that I will every single time I went back into that boss fight, I watched it because I was simply just like, this is the coolest shit ever. But I want to know a little bit more just beyond trailers and deep dives, and understand that a lot of the fun in video games can be that Easter egg aspect, can be the find the thing, connect the dots. I understand that that's really cool. Don't take that away. But when we're talking about the main story, the story in Elden Ring, I think, is phenomenal. I think it is super, super sick. So if we could have found a way to make that a little bit more included, like George R. R. Martin and everyone that worked on the story deserves all the flowers in the world. If we could get a way where I'm not just like, okay, I know that like Melania talking about being Michelosh, like, and stuff like that, where there's connection and you can connect some dots while you're doing it. If we can just add per boss fight 2 or 3 extra lines of dialogue, just to connect some dots and really make those moments a little bit better, I genuinely think it would go so far, because it would also make me want to connect even more dots after the fact than just being able to have the fact of, okay, I'm just going to sort of fucking move on now.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Souls games do, depending on how you think about it, good or bad, I think it's by playing the game, you get the story. By exploring, you understand the characters. That's where the difference is, because you can play the game, you can beat all the bosses, whatever, but if you don't do a little exploring, read some stuff about it, look at the item descriptions, you won't understand why things are happening.
Yeah.
I think that I really like that aspect of having the exploratory nature be more of like the plot. I think it's cool tying in gameplay to story like that. But as far as the wider audience is concerned, 90% of people played the game. They said, what the fuck was that about? And then they watched a Vadi video about it. Yeah. Like that's literally everybody.
But there's fun to be had there, but also
it's a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah.
I don't care about the lore at all in any of these games. I think it's cool that it's there. I'm not there for that. I just want to see the cool bosses, go through the cool world, fight the thing, come out on top. Bloodborne is like in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I think it's the second best game I've ever played. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Here's what we need to do.
I love the game for everything it has to offer.
Yeah.
The story, I think, makes it bumps it from a 10 to an 11 for me when it comes to these things.
For me, the thing that does take it to masterpiece level is the fact that the game was told in such a way, and like the world is cool enough that it did implore me to go that extra step with it. Compared to Bloodborne, the story I felt like was a little bit more linear of like there's a hunt, there's a nightmare,
you're a hunter, there's insight. The more you gain insight, the more plot happens.
I love that insight aspect.
So
whatever,
cool.
like, and then you go back to like the areas and like you can see more in the world.
It is really cool.
The amygdala's on like the walls.
It's just
or
sitting
whatever.
there looking at you.
It's
cool.
fucking terrifying. Anyways,
did you fight the amygdala? I think that's optional.
No, I did not.
You have to go back and do it.
Yeah.
There's also a Bloodborne little comic, couple of them that follow one hunter, and that
can we real quick like Andy Cortez, friend of the channel and everything, he's on Extra Life with us, and it's gonna be awesome. Is doing a Bloodborne playthrough, and he's super excited to be running it at 60 frames because he jailbroke some things. Yeah, all of it's legal, shockingly, because he's not doing anything that he's not like stealing anything or going anything around it. Sure. But this game is Sony and From are just like, you want to know what? Let's just not make a fuck ton of money. Because after the release of Elden Ring's DLC and everything, and obviously you have some of the biggest streamers in the world playing this game, feels like this series is at a fever pitch.
Kai is about to stream it.
Bloodborne. I understand. Can you imagine if right after Kai streamed it, we get a state of play in September, and they're just like, fucking drop it at 60 frames.
Kai Cenat, save us. Kai Cenat, save us. Get us Bloodborne remastered. Kai Cenat, I'm begging you.
It would break the fucking internet. It would be so sick.
That was such a fucking perfect meme reference right there. Yeah. All right. Nick, can you do me a huge favor?
Yeah, you want another LD?
Beverage,
do you want another drink?
I would love another liquid death.
Okay, I can't stop drinking them. I
have the orange ones or
I'll take a lime.
Not sponsored, by the way. But yeah,
we're trying. We're liquid death.
So
if you want to sponsor us, I would love that. That would be great.
For real.
We're gonna. I cut some of our questions because I think that the audience is gonna handle a lot of them, and also we're going. I think we've already been shooting for like an hour and a half.
I think it's like we're at like an hour 10 or something.
An hour even. Right. Okay.
Word works for me.
Do you want that or this?
I'll take this.
Okay.
One.
I think it's
that's your favorite, isn't it? Go for it.
Yes. By the way, like I'm having a ball right now.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking about my favorite game developer of all time. Like, of course, I'm having a ball.
We might need to call Brady up and be like, "Hey, you're going to come at like 7:45.
Yeah, you're gonna pull up later.
It's 5 o'clock.
We've been for perspective. We've been shooting since 8 a.m. We shot the first podcast at 8 a.m. Then we shot like 6 hours of TikToks because Shane's here and we got to use him while he's here.
Oh yeah,
just pump him for content, baby.
That's gross.
Yeah, we're pumping.
And then now we started shooting this at 3-something o'clock.
But the vibes, I feel like for two things. One, they're really great. But two, when we were talking about today and everything, I was like, when you said right before the show started, you're like, hey, like I need like 10-ish minutes to like break. Surely enough, I gave Connor like 3 minutes and asked him to help me with audio checks.
Yep.
But we go and we're hopping into this. Spirits are like all right, but I was like, I'm gonna get to say that I beat Bloodborne, and Connor's gonna be extremely happy. Shane, just because he fucking loves Souls and likes his boy doing cool shit, will be stoked. I was like, the energy's gonna be here, and this has been a phenomenal time thus far. This has been. It feels like we've been talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah. With that said, Connor, you want to take us to our next segment?
We're gonna go into listener inquiries. We have questions, and then we have takes. We're gonna ask the questions from the audience, and then we're gonna get into your takes that you gave us on the Soul series.
Some of them are good. Yeah. Some of them,
not so much.
I have no comment at this time.
do know I got a lot of write-ins, and a lot of them were very long, which is great and totally fine. But I had to choose between more people and shorter, or maybe shortening your write-in, like just taking a piece of it, or like doing just like less people in longer write-ins. So I chose the former to get more people in. Excuse me. These liquid deaths definitely make you
burpy.
They're a little burpy, I'll tell you that.
Burpy, right? All right, so we're gonna hop into it. Love to see you, Shane. For someone who is new to Soulsborne's, what is the best order to play FromSoft games, either story-wise or to break you into the gameplay format? And that's from Big Mac. And then we're going to mix that with Ali Benali's write-in. Hi, Co-op. I've always wanted to get into Souls games, but I've always struggled with the combat. Most Souls games tend to have a higher difficulty level when it comes to combat. What is a good intro game for someone who's never played a Souls-like game but wants to try one? Your bestie, Ali Benali.
I have the same answer for both these questions. So for the question of what should I get into first, my choice is Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3. I choose these because they are the two easiest.
Demon Souls, though. No?
Bloodborne, really?
Not Bloodborne only on PS4, not remastered yet. If there was a Bloodborne remaster on PC or Bloodborne at all on PC, I'd be like, play Bloodborne. However, not as accessible.
Okay.
Demon Souls, not as good.
It is not as good, but it is
not as good.
But it's still
fun.
great.
It's fun. Like it's a good time.
It is a cakewalk. You know how it's structured? It's like the five
It's the levels. 5 levels.
The fifth one is always a gimmick boss.
Yeah.
But they're really cool looking.
Fun
but they're
gimmick bosses.
always like
Stormlord or whatever the guy
yeah,
is.
you're just like
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm not saying Demon Souls is bad. I'm saying if you want to start somewhere, you start with Elden Ring if you want to get bang for your buck. If you want, it's the easiest Souls game by a country mile, because the game gives you so many tools to navigate its difficulties. If you want to go for like hard Dark Souls game, play Dark Souls 3. I think it's the best one out now, not by story or by mechanics, but simply because it's the newest one.
That goes such a long way. Like playing Dark Souls 1 feels like you're playing an old game.
It does.
Like really badly.
It gets a little dated. There's some parts where it's not. It's tough but fair, but is it fair?
Yeah.
Dark Souls 3, I think it's easy. It's very linear. So if you have trouble, Elden Ring's big problem, we mentioned this earlier, is you can get lost. You can look at the map, you can be like, I don't know where I'm going. You get analysis paralysis and you put the game down. This happens with a lot of people, many such cases. Dark Souls 3, extremely linear. A lot of people think this is a bad thing. I think if you're starting off with the series, it's a great thing. There's no way to go wrong because you'll get to a dead end and you'll remember, oh, this massive bridge I didn't cross, I need to go there. Or this massive hole in a mountain, I need to go in there. Or this big city, I need to go up to the tower that has a guy looking at me. So it's very simple. I think definitely get into Dark Souls 3 or Elden Ring. And Ali asked about, the combat?
Yeah.
I think when it comes to combat, Dark Souls 3, the best weapon in the game literally by a long shot, hands down, is the Sellsword Twin Blades. You get them when you start the game as the mercenary class. It's the dexterity based one. It is the default weapon. It's the best in the game. If you're ever worried about, I don't know about it as being hard, just level those up, throw a lightning infusion on it, or throw the lightning grease, and you will mollywop the entire game.
Yeah.
The problem with Dark Souls 3, it's very linear. The best part about it is the bosses. Some of the runbacks aren't hard, but some of the exploratory aspects are missing. So that's why I would like people to sort of go towards Elden Ring, because it's got more of that, exploratory aspect. It's also very simple. All of the builds are very good. There's not really a build that you can do that's like straight up bad. I usually tend to go for a strength build for everything I do. Two-handed weapon. I like to hit people with a big rock really hard, and that's very simple. Or you can do whatever you want, especially in Elden Ring. But Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3 are my two that I'm like, yep, try those if you want to get into it first.
I think Bloodborne is a fine place to start personally.
Yeah.
I think it has a similar thing to Dark Souls 3 where it's like it's really funneling you towards the next thing that you're supposed to do for the most part. So if you're worried about being lost, that has that aspect there. And I also think that the early game, if you can understand that the early game is like your learning period where like it's trial by fire, you're gonna get killed by mobs, but that'll help you for the rest of the game. And once you get over that first hump, you're gonna be like cruising through it for the most part.
Yeah.
Then if you go in with that expectation, I think it's a great first outing, personally.
As somebody that played Elden Ring first and then went back and played Bloodborne, I would say go and play Dark Souls 3 first, not just because Shane gave a really great explanation of why it makes sense for somebody that is really experienced, but going and playing something that has modern controls or like feels good to play while also not being the best in the series, I do think is important. So you have the things to go up and continue your story and experience. I think that everything after that fact adds something super interesting, whether it is the world of Yharnam or the difficulty of Sekiro or the openness of Elden Ring. There's different avenues that you can have.
We haven't talked about Sekiro at all.
Yeah.
This entire
How you
time
feeling?
we haven't even discussed it.
I haven't finished it.
Have you started it at all?
I played it at a friend's house for like an hour.
Oh,
like I haven't. Yeah,
it's great. I think I'm about halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't have the time to really lock in the whole dance aspect of the combat.
I'm looking at a full playthrough like guide of it, and I'm 5.5 hours into an 8.5 hour video.
There you go.
Yeah, so over halfway.
But real quick on that merit, I want to dial back and where would you like score Sekiro if you had to give a score right now?
I don't like the lack of direction in this game. I feel like I'm constantly there's multiple routes on where I could be going, up, down. Like there's a lot of verticality in this world. So I've used a guide for like the entire game on like where to go, which like I said earlier, like I wish there was a little bit more guidance and I would be enjoying it a lot more. But with that in mind, because every time I have to pull out my phone to look at a guide, I'm like, okay, this is hurting the experience for me for the most part. I did not feel that in Bloodborne for the most part, except for when I was platinuming the game. I had a guide up the entire time. I was just following along. We're like click, 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 click. All right, where do I go now? All right, a little forward. And then, so for Sekiro, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 currently. I really do love the combat. I think the combat is super fun. I do think it's a little bit off from exactly where I think it should be with the parry. I feel like I'm getting parries when I shouldn't be getting parries. You know what I mean? Which is fine. Like it makes the game a little bit easier. I don't think it's crazy. If everyone says Sekiro is the hardest one, and I am pretty deep in, have not had any problems.
It's not the hardest one. People said that at launch because they were expecting a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
Sekiro is not a Dark Souls game. It's a Sekiro game.
It's not even a Souls game technically because you don't drop like your souls anywhere.
Yeah.
You just lose them, which is like. So when we talk about what a Souls-like is, it's like I don't even think Sekiro technically is. If that's what people really want to know, is if it's hard, in my opinion, and if that's the case, Sekiro is clearly hard.
Yeah.
So I'm liking.
Can I just have a quick take before we get into this next question? I meant to say this earlier. Stellar Blade is more difficult than Bloodborne. I think by a bit too.
I played it.
It's pretty close, yeah.
I think that Stellar Blade has boss fights that are so intense that they're nice enough to allow you to have the blue circle prompts and everything of like, this is when you dodge, this is where you need to drop a parry real fast and everything, and there's those quick time visuals that allow you to go and play the game better. But it is intense. The bosses are overwhelming. I never really felt overwhelmed in Bloodborne.
Is Rise of the Ronin harder than Sekiro?
No, Bloodborne, you mean?
Yeah.
No.
I think it is.
I think that Stellar Blade's much more difficult than Ronin.
I think they're close.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay. From Oryx, number one, for the next Souls game, would you like to see an expansion to the open world model used in Elden Ring or a return to a more linear hub world?
I think this is just personal preference.
Yeah.
As far as the question goes, I love a real open world. I love being able to like create your own adventure out of a bunch of different tools. So I would say my vote goes to the Elden Ring open world.
It's similar to the Zelda situation right now, where it's like I would like every other. Just keep switching back and forth. Like have a more tailored experience, then do the open world experience, more tailored, smaller experience. Doesn't even need to be very long. Like just make
best of both.
Something a little bit tailored.
They proved that they can flex their muscles in two different ways spectacularly. I think that it's important to go every other, just on the mindset of, hey, we don't want the leftover creative ideas of Elden Ring to be part of our next game. Let's do something linear, get really creative with it, and then let's have that 5 or 6 years to then get really creative with the next open world outing. I think that that's really smart. Also, come on, I mean, I would love a linear, like more focused, dialed in game. It's so funny.
It really is just personal preference at the end of the day.
If somebody asked me, both of you guys know me very well, and this audience at this point knows me very well with what I like in gaming, that I would enjoy Elden Ring to the level that I do. Open world game, no dedicated story that is directly in your face. You are like, the combat's hard as shit. I would be like, this game is gonna be my fucking worst nightmare, and it's one of my favorite games ever. I do think that the open world aspects are super available, and if they were to go with another open world outing, they would crush it out of the park. It's funny, I feel like every now and then we'll say in like side conversations, or when I'm talking about gaming with people in chats or pre-streams or whatever, next year's game of the year is going to be GTA 5. Unless FromSoft does something. That is literally the only thing in my mindset that can beat it, because they're just that good. They've deserved that pedigree.
GTA 6.
Oh, GTA 6, my bad.
No. But yeah.
Still from Oryx, difficulty has become a hot button issue whenever the games have come out. Have Souls games found their correct difficulty, or should they be turned up or down?
I love that they even say up. I like that they're like, sometimes this shit is not difficult enough.
Sometimes easy.
I will say they found, in my opinion, the very correct level where the Souls game itself is doable. It's hard, but it's doable. And then the DLCs are there to go and make you wish you weren't playing that game anymore.
Level up again.
Yeah, get good again. We're going to really crank up the difficulty. You're somebody that beat Radon in not too many attempts and everything.
Not really. I mean, I tried for like an hour, and I was like, I'm going to go to bed. And then I tried a little bit more. And then I switched my build up a little bit, and then I beat him.
Yeah, it took me 15 hours. Not just him. I think 9 hours against him, but 6 hours of exploring then to upgrade things. I loved that, because the DLC it's there if you want it. You can beat this game and feel completely satisfied. But if you want this challenge, we're going to fucking destroy you.
And from a story perspective, it adds phenomenal layers to the story. It makes it really cool. And the whole like tying into like the origin of a lot of the conflict after the shattering is really cool, and I really enjoyed that.
It is. The story is way better, I think, in Erdtree than the actual overarching game. Obviously, it's additive, but it is so tight and terrific compared to some of the more loosey-goosey nature of the overarching story of Elden Ring in general. But I do think that it is really great. So when we're talking about difficulty, I'm like, I think they got it down pat right now. Yeah. Give me a really difficult game, but doable, and then the DLC, I want you to punch me so hard in the face I wish I was not playing it, and then I'm going to beat that motherfucker and win.
I think if you want a harder game and you're playing Souls, don't level up. If you want an easier game and you're playing Souls, good luck. You know what I mean?
Level over level, right?
Over level, use cheesy stuff. It's in the game.
Yeah.
Use it. If you don't like playing it that way, I hate to say it, actually I love to say it, get good. All right, that's what the game's about. It's about throwing yourself at a challenge and overcoming it through your own skill, because the game doesn't change, you change.
Yep. I really don't like the get good mantra, but like, because it feels like it's snarky in a way, but it's also like it is the reality of the situation.
It's a little snarky, but that's like the point of the game.
Yeah,
it's like
you need to understand that like you're gonna suck.
Yeah,
it's like getting somebody into Valorant. It's like, dude, like you're gonna be bad, but the fun of this game is learning it. Like, you know what I mean?
The best part is that when you overcome something like this, I know it sounds dumb and it's become a very large bit in this channel, but I can go and say, like, fuck you to Connor because I'm the best gamer in Code 64 because I've beaten Elden Ring's DLC now, and there is that get good nature of it. Of like, if Connor wants to take on the challenge one day, he can shit talk in the same way.
Because you beaten Cuphead, it's way harder.
It is way harder, dude.
Well, both of you can
Cuphead. I haven't beaten Cuphead.
Yeah, well,
you see, I'm just saying it just to fuck with Nick, but if you actually believe that, hell yeah.
So, dude, whoop my ass.
So tomorrow morning we have NCAA football and Fortnite scheduled. I didn't think I would get to stream Cuphead again remotely in the meantime before Extra Life, but Brady was out sick on Monday. He's all right, but we just wanted, like, he was like, I'm at 90%. I'm like, we have Extra Life. You're on camera for 21 hours. You are not going to be 90. I need you 100%. So I was like, I'll fucking stream Cuphead, beat a bunch of bosses. I think that if Braden is just wants to like relax and not be playing NCAA or something, or if we play a couple of games, I might hop into Cuphead.
But then cup on.
But then if I beat Cuphead during that stream, Connor's gonna wake up to me, and I'm just gonna leave it on the screen of me doing the game, and then I'm just gonna be double birds up, just fuck you, because he's still yapping. This guy just beat Bloodborne.
I have nothing else.
I know. It's the only game he has.
Give him his one thing. Give him his one thing.
Beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on hard.
It's
harder than Elden Ring.
I don't think so.
It is.
I haven't played that game.
It was legitimately the hardest game I've ever played.
Wow.
Not even close.
Yeah, well, they make it an SOB for sure. But you also played it in a very not great way. Can you please put that right over there?
Nick, you're just too vocal with your hands. I have to scroll the
I understand, but my hand, like, I can't see it like at all where it is.
That's fine.
Now I can't.
I don't really have a good spot for this.
Oh, my stuff's on the floor.
Oh, right.
Let's carry on with the viewer stuff, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, quick question. How does one go about playing Elden Ring without feeling completely lost? I want to get into this world, but without some sense of direction, the game just isn't clicking for me, even though I love other Soulsborne games. Thanks. And that's from Nova Warrior.
I have two pieces of advice. Follow the direction of grace, or whatever it's called, the guidance of grace.
The Yellow Brick Road.
Literally, follow the yellow lines, and if you find yourself in a new area, look on the map for it's blank, and then you'll see a little
map marker.
Map marker. Find the map immediately. Follow roads. Follow the roads. That's what they're for. It's just like real society. It directs traffic.
I could use that advice probably.
Yeah. Literally, you go around. You're like, I don't know where to go, and the one I'm thinking right now is Limgrave. You got a road that goes up. It goes through Stormhill, up till Stormhill, and then you got a road going right towards Caelid, left towards the castle. You can go wherever you want, but the road is directing you.
It will take you to an important POI, and you can get after it there. Great fucking advice. I'm gonna let you get through your second thing though, real quick.
That was the second. Just follow the roads. Just follow the guidance of grace.
Great.
That's literally it.
I will also say, and Connor and I would, I think, both attest to this. If you are not enjoying something, do not feel hindered by not looking up a guide to go in and have fun. If that is the big thing where you're like, I don't know where I am, and I just want to know where I am so I can like get honestly regrounded, because I think that these games are already overwhelming enough. If you don't know where you are and you're getting your ass beat, it's a lot more difficult than just getting your ass beat.
Zero shame for that. Yeah. Zero shame in looking up guides. For real.
Here's what I will say to this, because we touched on it earlier. I wish there was more direction in these games. Oftentimes, Elden Ring gets compared to Breath of the Wild in their structure with just go anywhere. The world is your oyster. It doesn't really say, like, you have to go to this location. Like, you're kind of just exploring the world and running into stuff. I think I never had to open up a guide for Breath of the Wild. I was running into shit. There was always something over that hill. There was a shrine. There was a dragon in the air. There was the divine beast off in the distance. There was something to go find, and I always felt like I was finding it without needing to pull up a guide. I think a guide does hurt the overall experience quite a bit for Elden Ring, because it removes that feeling of running into something and makes it guide you to the next area, because you're like, what exactly do I need to go do next? Oh, I'm going here now, rather than like, just being immersed in it. You know what I mean? Like, so I also have that problem as well, Nova. So
yeah,
don't be afraid to look up a guide.
Don't be afraid to look up a guide. Follow the roads. You know, it's both for lore reasons, because people got to get places with carts and whatever, but it's also for you. Go on the roads. You'll find special loot on the roads. You'll find little carts with chests on them. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
That's what it's for. So follow the roads, follow the guidance grace. That's my biggest two pieces of advice.
This one's going to be for Shane for sure. This is all Shane, and it's messaged to him. So,
sweet.
Hey, Shane, I want to say first off, you're looking good as always.
Thanks, baby.
I'd like to know your personal take on Soulsborne DLCs, worst and best. How their difficulty spikes increase, world building, and new combat mechanics affect the game itself, also including the beauty of the world compared to its main game counterpart. My personal favorite with this in mind is the Dark Souls 3 DLC with the Ringed City. I feel that this is on par with Shadow of the Erdtree's premise, with how you chase Gale to the literal end of the world and fight as slaves of war higher purpose. Your least favorite mod, Alec.
Not my least favorite mod. I don't think I have a least favorite.
I'm
Actually,
a mod,
my least,
technically.
Yeah, my least favorite's Nick. There we go.
Mr. Long Dong himself.
True. First off, thank you for the kind words, Alex.
His name is Alec McLongdong. If you're not a part of
if you're not part of the community, yeah, of course.
Because otherwise it sounds like well, how does he know this?
Yeah, right. So, Alec, I would say that you have excellent taste in downloadable contents because the Ring City is also my favorite. It's hard not to have it be your favorite if you play Dark Souls 3 and you really care about Dark Souls. Dark Souls 3 was engineered to be the last Souls game. And it was engineered, this is the last Souls game. Spoilers for the games that we've been talking about the whole time, but you fight the Soul of Cinder, which is literally you from the first game, and then you go to the Ashes of Ariandel, which is a very good DLC. The bosses are awesome. If you've played Sister Frida, you know what I'm talking about. And then you go to the literal end of reality and fight a guy that started the whole thing. And that's so cool.
Sounds badass.
It is very cool. You literally like time travel to all of reality's collapsing in on itself. And you fight in this massive ashen, like just wasteland. And you just see a dude like just killing these little guys because they have like, they're the pygmy lords, whatever, lore. And he turns around, he finds you, and he's like, oh, you're the one because you have the Dark Soul. I need you to save my, like, you know, my world, which is, you know, his painted world, whatever. But you fight against him, and it's two, like, it's not a man versus man. It's two ideologies clashing. And that's the coolest part of the game is how it ties that into lore and story. It's so nice. It's also super fun. It's got some of the coolest enemy armors that you can wear as well with like the Eclipse Knights. They're like the Ring City Knights. You know what I'm talking about. You play the game, but it's super tight. All that is super nice. I think it's also my favorite. Shadow of the Erd Tree, close second because of just the volume that you get out of that game, out of that DLC.
Have you beaten Erd Tree yet?
I have. Yeah. The volume you get out of it is just so nice. You're literally playing Elden Ring 2. Like it's a whole other game. It's awesome.
How long did it take you to beat the last boss in Erd Tree?
The last boss?
Yeah, you already said a couple hours.
I don't know, like 5 hours total or something. Like nothing crazy.
You suck.
You know, hey, I'm gonna whip out my biggest flex. I beat Melania second try, but that's just me solo too. No mimics, no nothing.
There we go.
Just straight gaming. I did use the Blasphemous Blade though.
I don't know what that means.
Best weapon in the game by far. Yeah, because it heals you when you use the weapon art. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But she also heals when she hits you, so it doesn't count.
It's an even 50-50, baby.
Even though I heal more than she does. Anyway, fun DLCs. I think the Abyss, the Artorias DLC is really cool. Again, I am a huge Berserk fan, so like all the references and stuff is dope. That's for Dark Souls 1. The Dark Souls 2 DLCs, except for the two, like the King's Pets fight, pretty tight, pretty cool atmosphere. But I gotta give it to Shadow of the Erd Tree and the Ring City. They're just so good.
Dude, Shadow of the Erd Tree is something that I disagree with Connor about the DLC take with Game of the Year and everything, that I think that it can be nominated, or I think it should be nominated, I should say, where if you asked me before this DLC came out, Phantom Liberty, I think is a great example of like, okay, like, yeah, I can see a case. Like, this is a really massive add-on, and then it didn't get nominated. People are like, oh, it's because it's a DLC.
It's a
I'm
DLC,
like,
it's not
no, I'm like, no, because it didn't get the votes, and it's not. It was not to the high. It wasn't to the prestige that these other 6 games were when people voted in with that panel. Shadow of the Erd Tree is different. Shadow of the Erd Tree is, like you said, it's bigger than Dark Souls 1. Like, it is a fucking huge
massive
experience. And the amount of twists and turns, it took me so long to find the final map fragment. Like, it took me forever because the way that there's this verticality within the map that is ungodly.
I think, like, not really a hot take, Shadowkeep as an area, one of the best that's in Elden Ring. Probably definitely top 3.
Yeah, there is so many moments that Elden Ring's base game provides where you go out of a door or you go in down a cave and you look up and around and you are mesmerized. And Elden Ring DLC, they're just like, hold my fucking beer. Like, they do it again and again and again and again. There's like 4 different moments, and I'm just like, I didn't know if you were going to be able to recapture this magic, and you didn't have to go this hard. You did not. The blues and the reds of the south side of that map are ridiculous in the way that they combine together.
Insane.
It is truly phenomenal.
The fact that you can play the game and just miss all of that. Like, you don't even have to go find the Putrescent Knight in St. Trina.
Yep.
Even though that's one of like the most impactful parts of the story of that game. Just so nice. The tying the plot to the exploration and everything.
Yeah. Well, that's... I also think that this game... I said in my review and everything for it, but the fact that they said we're going to strip away, obviously, your golden seeds, everything, to make leveling really difficult. Runes aren't really going to be
going by
too
percentage
much
damage instead of flat damage.
We're going to go and make you explore to get more powerful. We're going to do what we already do amazingly and make you do it even more. Instead of grinding, explore. That's such a cool way to change up the gameplay, just enough to really get you like feeling new and fresh entering this world again. It's really special. I think that Shadow Trees, just one of those DLCs that we're going to be talking about literally forever. Somebody could say it's the best DLC ever, and no one would bat an eye.
No.
Like,
I'm astounded that Elden Ring and Shadow Tree are a game that came out and a game that is finished. Like, I'm astounded that it exists.
Once again, I'm going to bring it back up. Andy Cortez was talking about being like, in 2020, I thought that remastered Bloodborne would happen eventually, and I'll be able to get it at 60, and that's when I was going to play the new Hunters DLC, and I was so excited about it. And ever since then, it's just been hell and shit and difficulty. Except there's this game called Elden Ring. That was pretty fucking cool. And I'm like, that is the case.
Not
like,
for real.
it literally has been a moment since 2022 where I think you talk about classic games, certified bangers that have come out. A lot of people for the longest time will look at something like Red Dead Redemption 2 and I like, for me, Portal 2, these games that are perfect masterpieces, extremely like a certified banger nearly like after release. I feel like Red Dead Redemption 2 took till about like 2021 to really get that class of like, oh yeah, like if this is in everyone's top 15, top 20, if you play a lot of games. Elden Ring, day one, it felt like everyone was just like, yep, this is it. This is the fucking GOAT. This is one of the best games ever released. And Erdtree is just a huge, terrific addition.
Right on.
I personally believe Dark Souls 1 is one of the greatest games of all time, and I can't help but feel forced to use a one-handed weapon in Shield, which has carried over to every other Souls game I've played. My question is, what weapons do you prefer in these types of games? Love the content and an inspiration to work on my own stuff. Thanks, fellas. Captain Yam Yam.
Hey, Yam Yam, thank you so much for the kind words. I like being a small boy in a big world, okay? I want a giant sword. End of the sentence. That's it. Not a giant sword. I just want a sword. I just want something that can slash.
But you don't use that in the 2 Souls games you've played.
I played Katana. It's a sword.
Okay.
I think Moonveil counts.
I used Moonveil, Rivers of Blood, and the original Katana that you get at the very start of.
I mean, a katana is different than like a great sword.
I do agree. Sorry, but Katana,
like,
in my opinion,
a long sword.
When we did the best swords draft, you talked about the Blades of Chaos being a fucking sword.
A one-handed sword that you can reasonably wield in real life.
Yeah.
Would you say that is
that's my jam. I want something that I feel like I can play with if I was that character, and using the greatsword is not something that old noodle arms Nicky Two Shoes could handle.
I don't know why I am the way that I am when it comes to this, but I want it to be the simplest weapon in the game. I want, in Demon Souls, I put the whole thing with just a basic long sword that I just like kept upgrading to the highest level that it can be. In Bloodborne, I use the saw cleaver, and I've done this in every Souls game. And then with Elden Ring, I didn't like the fact that there was like the weapon arts, and like when I watch you play, I'm like there's like lightning happening and blood flying around. It's like, it's cool looking, but like cool. I for some reason I just like that basic look. It makes me feel like it's more realistic, almost like I'm just fighting this like big thing as like a small guy with a sword or whatever. And then like when it becomes all magical like that, it becomes a little bit different. So,
fellas, I'm a man of simple taste.
I know where this is going.
Big sword.
I like when the number go up. All right, and by number I mean total damage. I'm gonna run it down. Dark Souls 1. If you played Dark Souls 1, I fired up the base cannon. No more explanation needed. It's a great sword, chaos infused, all the way up, strength built. Fire up the base cannon. Loved it. Dark Souls 3, use the ancient dragon great axe. It does the most damage in the game. And I also use the like Cursed Knight curved sword, the two-handed big ass one. Again, a strength build. Elden Ring, I started off with the Moon Veil, and I was like, I don't like playing the game like this. It's not as fun. So I switched it up, switched my build around, went Strength Faith, started using incantations, which is something I had never done in a game before for Souls, is using spells. Used incantations, did like a ancient dragon lightning thing because I could use the lightning spear spell, and that made my little Dark Souls heart happy. Used that, used the blasphemous blade, ran the same issue as Moonveil. I was like, this isn't fun. Switched to the Flamberge, and the after I beat the I'm forgetting the first name, but the other Lord of Frenzied Flame boss, the one with the weapon art where you can just like impale someone through the skull. I used that and the Flamberge, holy damage and fire damage infusion on the Flamberge to just two-handed greatsword slap people through the whole game. And then I used a shield and a thrusting sword for the last boss because I don't like dodging a lot of moves at the same time. For Promised Consort, it was very hard. So I pulled out a shield and I used a shield for like the first time
used
ever.
A shield for
I did.
Radon. The truth comes out.
How to switch it around? How to switch it around?
Speaking of weapons, the blunderbuss in Bloodborne. I love the guns in Bloodborne. That feeling of they're about to hit you and you shoot them,
on them.
And then they fall back and then you can go up and slash them. That feeling is amazing. I love that shit.
I love that they changed the parrying to just having a gun on you, just
and
keeping it on you.
Also the combat being like if you get hit, you charge right back in and get your health back.
My gosh, the fact that we haven't talked about this.
And if we're talking about gameplay and story tying together with the healing after charging someone, come on,
dude, it is.
Come on, it does not get better than Bloodborne.
It legitimately. When I rebooted up this game and everything, and I'm getting back into the mechanics, and I get that moment where something hits me, and then I hit it back, and I get all my health back. Was perplexed and amazed and delighted.
Yeah, man.
It was so good. It was the moment that I was like, this is why FromSoft is built different. They know how to change the game. They know how to make it something really cool, to make a mechanic that makes sense with the world and have it be so much fun. That's the other thing. With Radon, Connor knows this story. Every single time I would get to phase 2, I would have to out loud say, push, because you need to get up on that guy unless he's doing the big circle attack. You need to say, If you're not staying up on him, you're probably going to get smoked. And so for Bloodborne, I am consistently pushing. I'm consistently up in that
gas.
Face your
leg
fears
area.
Head on.
Yeah,
literally.
And I am holding on to this person's pocket, slashing the shit out of them. Like I said with the wet nurse, that fight was so satisfying because
you're on them the whole time.
In a game, I am in any other game, I'm getting damage hit on me consistently. I would have to be healing. I would have to be Nope, I'm going to hit back so freaking hard, so consistently. I felt like a god beating that boss, and I'm amazed by it. I do want to real quick just take a moment to double back on this with not beating either of the two bosses that you can beat at the end of Bloodborne, either the one or both of them. I will eventually.
I think you can only beat.
I thought it's just one at a time.
So you can beat one, and there's a secret ending boss or whatever that you have to do a bunch of stuff.
No, you just need to do the 3 chords.
Which is
the umbilical cords.
You need to do a bunch of stuff to get them.
Oh, I played the game decently naturally, and I got all 3.
You got all 3?
Yeah.
Oh. I followed a guide and had to. That's how I got them. I had 0 of them when I played it the first time.
Oh shit! I would go and utilize guide to point me in certain directions and everything, but I felt like I went and I accepted another one, and I was like, I don't know what this even does. Because once again, I pulled up the guide to be like, hey, does this matter in anything? And they're just like, there's 2 bosses.
They're both really cool bosses.
I know that they're dope as shit. I've seen the art in your fucking house, dude. Are you kidding me? So I will eventually love to go back.
Played Maria or Ludwig, dude? What the fuck? What the fuck, guys? Make them play this goddamn DLC.
What is that? For
Old Hunters. Both of them.
Yeah.
Same DLC.
I will say, I will love to go back to it. I am officially on the fucking shelf until Black Myth, obviously, which comes out in like 2 fucking weeks.
For Souls games.
I need. It's not just Souls games. It is. I'm going to beat Cuphead. I'm going to flip Connor off, and then I'm putting down difficult games for months. I'm going to enjoy Concord. I'm going to enjoy Call of fucking Duty. I'm going to play Black Myth, obviously, but then Star Wars Outlaws. Thank God. I'm so Astrobot. Yes. Not something that I'm going to legitimately wake up in dread being like, oh, it's time to get my ass handed to again.
No.
Oh, it's a great time.
Right. We're going to go through some takes here. And all we're going to do, because the podcast is going long, and I think this is the best way to do it anyways.
Wait, you think that this pod's going long?
No, what's that?
We're only an hour 40 in, bro. That's nothing.
Rapid fire.
We have takes, and I'm going to say them, and I want to hear agree, disagree, or a short little jab back on how you feel about it. All right. From Waiting for Silksong, Liza P is better than Bloodborne.
Wrong. Atmosphere counts. Continue.
Yeah, I disagree.
That
from my experience.
For my big thing, I would just say I think that the gameplay in Liza P is hands down absolutely ridiculously better. But
no.
Yeah. Liza P is it's better.
Disagree.
It's different, but the atmosphere is not good. I also don't like French people. Carry on.
We have a huge European audience.
I love the parry mechanics in Liza P. It's one of the most satisfying mechanics in all of gaming, and not just like Souls. Yeah. I think that the parry is ridiculous, and you don't have that in Bloodborne.
Yeah,
but I agree that the atmosphere adds more. I would say the Bloodborne is better.
Yep. Ornstein and Smog is an easy fight. That's how I got filtered, so I clearly disagree.
It is a filter. I disagree that it is easy, but once you know how to do it, obviously it's easy. That's with every Souls game. If you know how to play it, you can play it well.
Demon Souls is harder than people say it is because of the lack of checkpoints. I'm the only one who's beaten this. I found this game to be
cakewalk. So I did not have an issue playing with what I played through. So there we go. Thank you for writing in. Yeah. I appreciate the hot takes. Carry on.
These games in a genre by extension are not hard. It's literally like a fighting game. If you're dying a lot to the same thing over and over again, it's your fault and you're doing something wrong.
Agree. Tough but fair. Agree.
It's your fault you're doing something wrong. Yeah, I don't agree, though, that they're not hard. These are well-designed puzzles that are meant to be difficult.
Exactly.
It's
a puzzle.
So, them saying it's not hard, I'm like, I very much disagree, but I understand that the fight and the dance, you need to switch things up, you need to learn, you need to get better, but I think that is a hard process.
It's a puzzle. Yep.
Elden Ring is an incredible game, but the Dark Souls combat is so outdated and clunky with horrible hit markers. Sekiro has easily some of the best combat in gaming. Do you agree Elden Ring was a huge step backwards as far as gameplay? Dark Souls combat is nothing special at all.
Sounds like someone's having what we like to call a skill issue.
No.
The hit detection in Elden Ring, objectively, is not bad. Some of the moves, when the game came out, and when the DLC came out, were a little jank. Patches came out, fixed a lot of it. The hit detection, blaming the hit detection is just wrong. That's just straight up wrong.
This is from Aries, by the way. I personally do prefer the combat in Sekiro to Elden Ring, but it's different. Like, they're trying to do different things. Like,
yeah, agreed.
Like Elden Ring is supposed to feel clunky and heavy, but like that's what it's trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like the gameplay and that game feel comes from the puzzle, the overcoming of the pattern and figuring out the pattern and everything. That's what I think people are really looking for. So
I'm not going to talk about this one. I just we need to keep going.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 has one of the best level building. I loved the different areas, even if they didn't make sense. The fact you could change stuff in the environment to make the fight for yourself easier was amazing. The biggest downfall for it, though, with its sluggish controls. The boss fights made it seem like it was quantity over quality. A lot of bosses felt like mini bosses. While there are some memorable boss fights from the Pursuer, most fell flat for me. The end boss was not very memorable for me either. I felt like it felt like an attempt at a Dark Souls game that was just half finished and not thought out. From my limited experience with this game, the mini boss thing is what rings through the most. Like, I barely got into this game, and I felt like every single boss was like this small, like, knight guy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the one that I remember is like he's like red and like he's like a little chunky or whatever. Yeah, he's just like a big guy in an arena. And it's like, okay,
wait 5 seconds, dodge left, he kills himself.
Right,
that's how you beat the boss. Yeah. I think I compare Dark Souls to The Last Jedi. A lot of really cool ideas, a lot of really rich creativity, a lot of horrible shit ideas and terrible execution.
Yeah.
I think that if you took a lot of the good, which Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring did, you can make a great game. But you're very correct in a lot of the flaws. Unfinished game. Instead of having one really cool boss, they had one mid boss and then they copy pasted it 3 times and they're like, that's a boss fight, guys. Call it a day, clean up, go home. Which is just having a gank fight is not fun, and that's what Dark Souls 2 proved. So
rapid fire here. Second half of Dark Souls 1 isn't that bad. Duke's Archive is fun. New Londo is okay. Sif, Nito, and the Four Kings are fun fights.
It's fun. It's just not as good as the first half.
Promise Consort Radahn is one of the most exhilarating fights in the series and is probably my new favorite boss of all time after I bested him over the course of 12 to 15 hours over 4 days.
I'm going to say, first and foremost, congratulations. Yep. I legitimately think that is a Herculean thing to go and try to bash your head at something for 12 to 15 hours. So legitimately good on you.
Yeah,
I think that that dance is extremely satisfying, but I did find a lot more satisfaction in Mesmer as a boss fight.
I agree. I think Mesmer was a cooler boss fight. However, Promise Consort was so fun, and calling it bad because other ones are better is just not.
Oh,
it's not even close to bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, phenomenal boss fight.
And
have to agree there.
Especially with the story too included.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Come on.
And the epicness of shout out to someone in our community that spoiled it hard for me right when things were like coming out. Just immediately was just like, this is in the game. Shout out to you. Yeah. So I didn't have that moment of like, oh, is it Radahn? I knew it was Radahn, and I was still blown away from a story standpoint. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Outside the co-op areas, which suck, the DLC areas and bosses in Dark Souls 2 are some of the best in the entire series, with highlights being Burnt Ivory King, Frozen Elium Lois, and Broom Tower, and are just incredibly underrated by the Souls community due to the hate DS2 receives. Not as much today, but especially a while back. I do feel like there's been some revisionist history on Dark Souls 2 in general. Just like people are like, it's good now, rather than like, it fucking sucks.
It's a good game. It's not a good Souls game. That's kind of a cop-out answer, but it's to follow up a like genre-creating game like Dark Souls with Dark Souls 2. A lot of people are really disappointed, and they're like, this game fucking sucks. This sucks. FromSoft's washed, whatever.
It's still better than like half the games out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good game. It's just not as good as the rest of the series. That's why people hate on it, because they knew it could be so much more.
You don't need to go into super long depth on this. I would love to hear, Shane, what is your score of Dark Souls 2 1 to 10? Like just as a game, not
7.5.
Oh yeah, it sounded like that's what you're saying. Yeah,
it's a good game.
I love that.
There's a lot of really good parts. There's a lot of parts that kind of suck, and some of the boss fights are really cool. Most of the boss fights suck. Although if there's multiple bosses in the same arena, it's usually a bad boss fight in Dark Souls 2 because it's just like several boring movesets, and they all just sort of like move towards you and then do their little combo, and all of their stuff doesn't really like harmonize together. They're all singing their own melody. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna do some final thoughts from our boy Ill Twisted, who sums up a lot of what we've said in his write-in. Consider the game that doesn't consider you. A lot of new fans haven't come to fully appreciate the series in its grassroots. A dark, desolate hell that many players didn't know they've been searching for all their life. The game promised you nothing but a challenge in the continuity of discovery within a dark, fantastical realm. Dark Souls, or Demon Souls.
But mainly Dark Souls.
Here's the game. It's a cool game. Play it or don't play it. Missed an important NPC, and now you can't do a magic build? Good luck New Game Plus, or you'll have to start over. Better luck next time. Messed up a questline? Oh well. Enter the catacombs way too early? Guess you're fucked. This is what you've signed up for, and you have nobody to blame but you. In making mistakes, you will learn to tread carefully, or not, and at some point, that will probably drive you to the forums to seek answers from other lost souls. It's the community involvement. But it's be it the covenants, the invasion co-op system, the in-game messaging, the forums, and lore breakdowns, they all surmount to something of a special gaming experience.
Absolutely agree.
Twisted.
Absolutely
well
agree.
Put.
Yes.
Thank you for the write-in, everybody. Appreciate it. I apologize if you did not get written in. Your write-in did not get read. there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was so much. You guys
Long
were
ass
very,
episode.
very good with writing in a lot of interesting questions. And I want to get some new people in there. If you're new and I have not read you on the show for any of our writing episodes, keep writing in. I promise you, I try to get as many people in as I can.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
All right, we're gonna do the draft now. Who wants to go first here?
I can intro it, but we normally let the guest go first. We normally let Brady.
Just to the left.
Yeah, we go with Shane.
snake draft?
Yeah, snake it.
Snake draft and what?
The video game worlds we want to
Oh
live
yes.
in.
Pull the list.
And make sure you're choking up on this bad boy.
Yeah, I'll choke
big
up
time.
on a bad boy. We get how many each?
Five.
5. Oh, I made like a list of like 10, 20.
Well,
right.
that's because
Well-
we might choose some of those. Let me intro it real quick
By all
for you,
means.
Shandy.
I'm pulling it up anyway.
Right? Welcome to the video game draft for this episode. We're talking video game worlds we want to live in. And we are doing another 3-person draft with our boy Shane. Shane, you get the first pick.
There's nothing better than going outside, taking a breath of fresh air, looking over to your left, and seeing a spade-tailed blood dragon just obliterate an entire village full of people. I want to live in Tamriel, and I'm picking Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Okay.
I want to live in Skyrim.
The exploration is just out of control there. Just you get to be a wanderer. You get to travel around.
You get to travel around. There is nothing as a normal dumbass guy that you can't do unless you're like the Dragonborn or whatever. But you can learn all the magic. You can learn all the skills. You can do all the cool stuff just by like figuring it out. There's nothing barring you like racially or like whoever you are from like learning stuff. You can whoever you are. You can be the Archmagos of the College of Winterhold basically for free if you're playing the game as the main character. But you can learn whatever you want, and like the lore of Elder Scrolls is just like, mwah, it's so good.
Just, yes.
Shane's getting smoked in the first 20 minutes of dropping into that world. That's all I'm saying. A dragon's going to just pick him up and throw him off a cliff, and then he's done for with his 101. Connor, what's your pick?
With my first pick, I'm going to go with Animal Crossing because, of course, I'm getting with Animal Crossing, a town where I can pay off my house and be Tom Nook's partner in crime in building up this town. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to make animal friends. It's going to be a great time. Animal Crossing.
So Shane, with his first pick, chose Medieval Death.
I chose medieval badassery, all right?
Connor chose
Relax.
capitalism. With my first pick, I'm going to choose Pokemon. I'm taking Pokemon Red if you want to like put me in a specific region and everything. But I just want to live in a world where there's cool ass monsters around me that I can catch and collect. And it seems like nobody's worried about like rent in that world for some reason. You just get to live and fight in cool tournaments, but you're not really in trouble. You just got these mons with you, baby. It's fucking awesome.
This guy's getting driftlooned.
Yeah, for sure.
And then with my second pick,
Yeah.
shocking nobody, I'm going to choose Final Fantasy VII Remake. I want to live in Midgard, baby. I want to be by Wall Market.
Industrial hellscape?
Yeah, right. No, I want, like, are you kidding me? Wall Market? You got this city in the sky? Connor, it's so beautiful up there. I want to be up high on a plate. I want to have a drink at 7 Heaven and have a great time. I'm choosing Midgard. Midgard's fucking cool.
With my second pick, I'm going farming, baby. I'm going to Stardew Valley. Just a chill.
I gotta
We're going to
do
the
that one,
countryside where we're just hanging out. We're making relationships. We're planting some plants. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stardew Valley with my second pick.
And following that up, living the dream, the almost ungraspable dream of owning property. I'm going to Farming Simulator, baby. I love that game so much. It's so chill. It's so fun. I just want to chill in the mountains of Germany and like grow my little olives, man. That'd be so fun. Anyway, Farming Simulator. And then we're going to switch it up a little bit and go more towards the capitalist hellscape area of gaming. I want to live in the orbit of a planet in the Hoxie system. I want to live in Deep Rock Galactic. They have a lot of fun. They got cool tech. They got semi-free healthcare that'll kind of only send you into like crippling debt, like basically every time. But it's really cool and rock and stone. I'm picking DRG.
Nice.
Shane's
That
going to
was a
give us
deep cut.
major brownie points for talking about games that we don't always talk about. So
Yeah,
thank
man.
you, Shane.
This guy's a fucking nerd over here. Who the fuck is this
Who
guy?
invited this guy? Connor, what's your pick?
With my third pick, I'm going to pick Mass Effect. Just being able to go at the speed of light, pulsing through a Mass Effect mass relay and travel the galaxy, run into a bunch of races and meet a bunch of new people. The Turians, the Solarians, it's gonna be so fun. The Reapers, oh my god,
the Reapers,
what's going on, guys? It's like, oh geez, I get to be a part of this. Yeah, this is assuming we're either way before the Reaper threat or a little bit after. So yeah.
I have my 1, 2, 3, and 4 all that are going to be on my team, which hasn't happened in a very long time, especially for a 3-person draft. With my next pick, I'm going to choose Minecraft. You just get to build a home, live your own adventure.
Creepers are coming after you. Zombies are coming after you. Skeletons are coming after you.
The best part, 3-meter long spiders that just like show up at your doorstep.
The best part of this world is that at night you just get to go home, lay in your bed, and those things are out there, but they're not going to mess with you. It's almost like the perfect dream setting of when you're in your own bed and like you're under your covers, you're safe, and that's how Minecraft works, baby. And I love that.
I don't want to not leave my house most of the time. You know
exactly.
What I mean? I want to go out into the night. You know what I mean?
Connor, you like sitting at home and playing games. What are you talking about, man?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what this is talking about.
And then with my next pick, I am so dumbfounded that this is getting back to me, especially because Connor's on the panel. I'm choosing Night City, baby. Give me Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, dude,
why do you not want to live in a futuristic,
it's up there for me.
super sick, nasty world where you can get bodily upgrades?
What
What
would you be?
Sick?
What would you be?
I would be I'd be a businessman. I just want.
We got a corpo. I'm gonna join the cool anti-capitalist world and be a capitalist.
No. I just want to be a suit, but then I'll get corrupted. All right, let's be real. Late Night City, the vibes would take over. We'd have a crazy time in Night City. Driving around in Night City would be sick as fuck. So I'm all about it. I have all my 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like I love my team. Also, Minecraft's music. Come on.
With my fourth pick, I'm picking Tony Hawk.
There we go.
I just live at the skate park, and I'm also really good at skating in this universe. So I'm living in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Connor is going to have the worst back after a certain point as he is sleeping on concrete every single night.
No, I don't sleep. I shred.
He shreds,
I don't sleep. I shred, Nick.
Okay.
In this universe, all you do is shred.
There's no sleep.
There's
It's
no
just
sleep.
sleep when you're dead. Shred while you live. Dude.
Yeah.
That's what you got. All right, so 2 in a row for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
First one, just gonna go back to a classic. I want to live in the world of Titanfall, dude. I want to go around, have a bunch of really cool future tech, have fold space technology, can teleport anywhere. I also just want to have like a big AI buddy. Should be my homie. So Titanfall, and then for my last pick, I'm gonna have to go with The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker.
Ooh.
I like it.
Living in that world, exploring. Just doing some exploring, doing some sailing. God damn, that game is so fun.
Some exploring, dude.
I just want to do some exploring, listen to my little music, sail in the great sea. So Wind Waker, my last pick.
With my last pick, I'm between two in the same series. For my last pick, I'm gonna go with Persona 4. I would. You're either a big city girl or a small town boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a small town boy. Like I want to like be in the Japanese rural countryside. I think that sounds fun to me. With a small tight knit town, go to Junes and go shop for TVs and such, and then go into the Midnight Channel. Yeah, we're going with Persona 4.
Good pick.
Connor.
Also the vibes with the music, dude.
Yo, like, the music's so good.
The best
heartbreak
is that Connor's had to deal with me all week just going ba ba da 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 da. I'm choosing Kingdom Hearts 2 with my last pick, mainly for Twilight Town. I want to be in Twilight Town. I want the cozy vibes. I want my sea salt ice cream. I want the champion to see who's the strongest in the town. This is just the vibes, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And of course, for some reason in my mind, the music's just playing 24/7, even though that's probably not the case. It would be phenomenal.
Yeah, that's me with Persona 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're vibing out. I would love to live in that world. And then if we're just doing, I get all the Kingdom Hearts worlds like with Kingdom Hearts 2, are you kidding me? There's so many cool worlds. But I'm mainly taking Twilight Town with this pick.
Some honorable mentions here. I had GTA 5.
I also had GTA 5.
I had Power Wash Simulator.
Ooh, banger.
Dude,
Which
it was just so
DLC?
satisfying, dude.
I had Forza Horizon 5. I had Sunset City from Sunset Overdrive. Super sick.
No Man's Sky.
Big one.
That would be so
Big
fun.
one. That would
dude.
be awesome. Yeah.
I threw Red Dead on my
Me
list.
too.
All right. I had, if I didn't get Wind Waker, I had Sea of Thieves.
Good
I
choice.
had the Borderlands universe. I had Monster Hunter.
That'd be cool.
I had Guilty
I don't know
Gear.
about Monster Hunter.
I had
You had
living
Pelicans.
in the Overwatch world, but not being part of Team Overwatch.
Okay, interesting.
And then I had living in my empire in Stellaris, but only when I'm winning.
I had Mario, just Mushroom Kingdom.
I had Mario Super Sluggers. Take me out of the
Oh
ball
my
game,
God.
baby.
Take me out of the
Take
ball
me out of the
game, dude.
ball game.
I had Final Fantasy 12.
Okay.
And I had Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
The last one I had on my list was fucking New York City from Spider-Man. I just want to live in it.
God.
Like,
I
that's
just wanna live in New York.
That's a good
I can't
default.
afford it, and this is the only way I can get in.
That's a good fucking default of just. I want a New York slice.
live in New York?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I'll have a shitty apartment probably, but like
a
at
couple
least it'd be
dogs,
cool.
yeah.
Spider-Man, and you get a slice, you get a couple dogs. Like,
Yeah,
come
man.
on.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Right on.
I think that
That'll do it.
This is the second longest podcast we've ever shot.
Other than the
Final Fantasy VII
spoiler
Rebirth
cast.
spoiler
Right
cast.
on. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching this week. Remember to go send us a review on Apple Podcasts. It helps people find the podcast, so go do that if you can. Check out merch and our Discord in the link in the bio on TikTok. We stream Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching.
And if you enjoy this episode, leave the comment. What is a better character, Pokemon or Mega Man? Not Pokemon.
Pikachu or Mega Man.
I'm just looking at both of them right now.
Yeah.
We've been shooting content since 8 a.m. It's 5 o'clock. I'm tired.
My favorite character, Pokemon.
Pokemon. Yeah, I like Pokemon.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.